Phoenix Nights. Chapter 2655. Gu Fei had received guidance from Ren Huang. His cultivation had reached the great sage great perfection realm. He was qualified to break through to the holy venerate realm. Is this the deity in the mountain and river cauldron? Why is it a wretched old man? When Gu Fei summoned the mountain and river cauldron's soul, Gu Ling's crisp voice resounded in the main hall of the city lord's mansion. Gu Ling stared curiously at the little old man who was sitting cross-legged above the mountain and river cauldron. It was her first time seeing the deity in the extreme divine tool. What are you talking about, little girl? Be careful that I don't spank you. The deity in the mountain and river cauldron immediately rolled his eyes at Gu Ling when he heard Gu Ling calling him a little old man, a wretched old man at that. You're a wretched old man, Gu Ling said seriously. Whose family is this girl? She's really pissing me off, the little old man said angrily. Mother, this little old man is so fun. Gu Ling couldn't help but clap and laugh when she saw the deity in the mountain and river cauldron getting angry. This little girl can't be. The little old man looked at Gu Ling and Yener before turning to look at Gu Fei. Hee, she's my precious daughter, the girl of my Gu family. Gu Fei was amused when he saw this. Damn, so she's your daughter. No wonder she's so wild. She's really an ignorant wild girl. The little old man came to a sudden realization. Hey, what are you talking about? I'm not a wild girl. It was Gu Ling's turn to be unhappy when she heard the little old man calling her a wild girl. Although she was lively and active, she was definitely not a wild girl. But I'm not a wretched old man either, the little old man said to Gu Ling, pretending to be serious. All right, stop fooling around. Linger, don't be rude to your senior. Senior, you're already so old, yet you still stoop to the level of a little girl. At this moment, Gu Fei spoke. And Gu Fei Brad is right. I am a senior expert, so I won't lower myself to the same level as a little girl like you. The little old man straightened his clothes, raised his head, and puffed out his chest. He pretended to be serious, looking like an otherworldly expert as he looked at Gu Ling. This time, Gu Ling did not say anything. Let's get down to business, Gu Fei said to the old man. I know what you want to say. Don't you want to undergo tribulation? That's easy. The power of heaven's wrath in the human realm has already disappeared. You can undergo tribulation in the human realm, the little old man said. It's a good choice to undergo the tribulation in the human world. However, ever since the primordial world was destroyed, the laws of heaven and earth in the human world have become incomplete. This, Gu Fei wanted to say something but hesitated. Hey, you brat, your ambition is really higher than the sky. You actually want to. The little old man was a little surprised. The meaning behind Gu Fei's words was that he didn't want to undergo tribulation in the human realm. He wanted to become a supreme expert, and because the laws of heaven and earth in the human realm weren't perfect, supreme experts wouldn't be born. That's right. I hope you can fulfill my wish. Gu Fei stared at the little old man and said in an extremely serious manner. This? The little old man pondered. Mother, father, what are they talking about? Gu Ling asked Yener. Yes. Yener thought for a moment and said, I know a little about your father's thoughts. He doesn't want to undergo tribulation in the human realm. He wants to pave the way to become a supreme expert in the future. What, supreme expert? Father. Gu Ling couldn't help but be extremely shocked when she heard this. Father's ambition is really higher than the sky. Father actually wants to become an invincible supreme expert in the 3 realms and 6 Daos. If Father can become a supreme expert, then I'll be the daughter of the supreme expert. Who in the 3 realms and 6 Daos would dare to bully me? Gu Ling couldn't help but feel extremely excited when she thought of this. Just as Gu Ling's thoughts were running wild, the little old man frowned. In the end, he sighed. Although your request isn't easy, it's not impossible. If you can invite the human sovereign here, then there's hope, the little old man said. Invite the human sovereign. Gu Fei was very surprised when he heard this. One should know that he had just returned from the Jiang clan and now he was going to visit them again. That's right. Only the human sovereign of the Jiang clan and I can send you to the heaven realm. The little old man put away his playful expression and looked at Gu Fei seriously. This was a big matter and he knew the importance of it. He was also very curious and wanted to see how far Gu Fei could go. Father, are you going to the heaven realm? Can you bring me along? When Gu Ling heard that Gu Fei wanted to go to the heaven realm, she immediately jumped out from behind Yener. The heaven realm was the cradle of experts. All the cultivators in the human realm dreamed of going to the heaven realm. Don't mess around. Your father is not going to the heaven realm to play. Yener pulled Gu Ling to her side. Oh. Gu Ling was a little disappointed. Little girl, do you want to go to the heaven realm? The cauldron soul of the mountain and river cauldron suddenly turned around and said to Gu Ling with a smile like an evil little old man. Humph, so what if I want to? Gu Ling said to the little old man. Haha, beg me. If you beg me, I will reluctantly send you to the heaven realm. The little old man said with a smile. Humph, I'm not begging you. Gu Ling stuck out her tongue at the little old man and made a face. All right, I'll go ask the human sovereign. Gu Fei acted on his thoughts. The laws of heaven and earth in the human realm were not complete, so it was impossible for an omnipotent expert to be born. In the current world, the only places that could give birth to omnipotent experts were the heaven realm or the chaotic world. The chaotic world had long disappeared into the chaotic void. Even with Jiang Renhuang's cultivation, it was difficult to find it. One should know that the chaotic void was just too vast. Then it could only be the heaven realm. It was not an easy task for Gu Fei to undergo the tribulation in the heaven realm. One should know that the end of the ancient road to heaven was the forbidden zone. Jiang Renhuang did not want to attack the forbidden zone now. Of course, with the help of the cauldron of mountain and river, he had some confidence that he could send Gu Fei to the heaven realm. In the end, Jiang Renhuang agreed to Gu Fei's request and the two left the Jiang clan of the desolation. Jiang Renhuang took a step forward and a golden path immediately appeared beneath his feet. The golden path carried Jiang Renhuang and Gu Fei and instantly disappeared into the distance. This time, they did not use the teleportation formation. As Gu Fei stood on the golden path, he felt the void around him distorting. But soon, the scenery around him suddenly became clear. In the next moment, he looked around and was shocked to the extreme. In front of him, there was an ancient path that went straight into the sky. That ancient path was the ancient road to heaven. However, in an instant, he had gone from the ancestral ground of the Jiang clan of the desolation to the depths of the East Sky Market. This speed was too shocking. Jiang Renhuang was indeed the human emperor. No wonder he could challenge a supreme being. With just one step, he had crossed into the East Sky Market. If Jiang Renhuang wanted to, he could go anywhere on the ancestral soaring dragon star. Who is that? Soon, the cultivators wandering around the ancient road to heaven noticed Jiang Renhuang and Gu Fei. Jiang Renhuang was wearing a beast skin and looked like a hunter that walked out of the mountains. He was very inconspicuous. No one would have thought that this hunter was the supreme human emperor who could challenge a supreme being. That person is standing with Gu Fei. Could he be a holy venerable? No one could see through Jiang Renhuang's cultivation. This person. The silhouettes of some ancient sages could be seen in the distance. When the ancient sages saw the figure clad in beast skin, their faces immediately changed and they immediately retreated. All right, let's begin. Jiang Renhuang waved his hand and an ancient cauldron flew over from the distance and landed in his hand. This ancient cauldron was the mountain and river cauldron that Gu Fei had placed in the city lord's palace of Wenxiang City. Swoosh. Chapter 2656. Yener and Gu Ling were hiding in the cauldron of mountain and river, planning to sneak into the heavenly realm. But who was Jiang Renhuang? He naturally sensed that there were people in the cauldron of mountain and river, so he poured Yener and Gu Ling out. You! Gu Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry at this scene. Buzz! At this moment, the cauldron in Jiang Renhuang's hand vibrated. A silhouette appeared on top of the cauldron. It was the god inside the cauldron. Old man, you are not reliable! When Gu Ling saw the little old man, she immediately called out. Greetings, Renhuang. The old man ignored Gu Ling and cupped his fists at Jiang Renhuang. What? Human? Human emperor? When Gu Ling heard the little old man's words, her shock was no small matter. She had never imagined that this ordinary man in beast skin would be the legendary invincible emperor. The human emperor is also very ordinary. I thought that the human emperor was an invincible hero who could make the heavens and earth tremble. Gu Ling murmured. The human emperor in front of her was worlds apart from the image of the human emperor that she had imagined. The perfect image in her heart was instantly shattered. Don't be rude! Gu Fei walked over and pulled Gu Ling to his side. This was the Renhuang. How could she talk nonsense in front of him? My daughter is rude. I hope the Renhuang does not mind, Gu Fei said to Renhuang. At this moment, Gu Ling hid behind Gu Fei and stuck out her tongue. She looked mischievous and did not take Gu Fei's words to heart. It's okay. Jiang Renhuang waved his hand. Greetings, Senior Renhuang. At this moment, Yen'er walked up and bowed to the human emperor. She was about to kneel down. No need to be so polite. Renhuang raised his right hand and Yen'er immediately stopped. It's very easy for you to enter the heaven realm. Gu Fei, if you put them into your inner world, won't you be able to bring them into the heaven realm? Jiang Renhuang said. Not bad. Isn't that simple? There's no need to go so far. The little old man chimed in from the side. Do you really want to follow me to the heaven realm? Gu Fei looked at Yen'er and Gu Ling, then said very seriously. One must know that he did not go to the heaven realm to play, but to undergo tribulation. The heaven realm had perfect laws of heaven and earth. Going through the tribulation in the heaven realm could make Gu Fei's Tao foundation more stable, paving the way for him to become a supreme expert in the future. Father, I want to go to the heaven realm, Gu Ling said excitedly. Ever since the appearance of the ancient road to heaven, it had evoked her yearning for the heaven world. That was the perfect world that all experts wanted to enter. Yen'er naturally didn't want to leave Gu Fei. Wherever Gu Fei went, she would follow. All right, that's it then. With a wave of his hand, Gu Fei took Yen'er and Gu Ling into his inner world. All right, let's begin. This Gu Fei's luck is too heaven-defying. He actually has a relationship with Jiang Renhuang, and even invited him. One of the doyens frowned and said, Jiang Renhuang. The Eastern Sky Tyrant Emperor's eyes became even sharper. The birth of the human sovereign was definitely a sensational event in the cultivation world of the human realm. Even the experts from the outer star system were alarmed. The super forces of the 5 ancestral planets still had ways to come to the soaring dragon ancestral planet. There were secret passages in the Kunlun ancestral planet that led to the 5 ancestral planets. Some of the ancient passages were reconnected. Not long after, the experts of the 5 ancestral planets would be able to travel to and fro. Just as Jiang Renhuang and the deities of the mountain and river cauldron were preparing to send Gu Fei to the heaven realm, in a hidden small world in the eastern domain, on a towering mountain, rays of dazzling golden light rushed out. An extremely powerful aura spread from the peak of the mountain, and the whole small world was shaking. Then, a ball of golden light rose from the peak of the mountain, emitting billions of divine rays. It was like a golden sun had appeared in this small world. It was a divine cocoon covered with golden runes, and a powerful aura was emitted from the divine cocoon. This was the ancestral land of the golden-eyed godly ape. It was an extremely stable small world. At this time, this small world was in great turmoil. When the golden cocoon appeared, the whole world seemed to be falling apart. Pitch-black spatial cracks kept appearing in the void. The aura emitted from the golden cocoon continued to increase, and the whole small world seemed to be on the verge of collapsing at any time. At this critical moment, golden runes emerged in this small world, emitting a powerful aura of the Great Path, and stabilized this part of the world. Boom! When the aura emitted from the golden cocoon increased to its limit, a loud noise was heard. The golden cocoon exploded, and a figure appeared in the void. Roar! The figure roared at the sky. The small world that had been stabilized by the golden runes began to shake violently again, and terrifying spatial cracks appeared. The figure emitted an immortal golden light, and 9 golden runes emerged on his body, emitting a powerful aura of the great path that could change the color of the world. I've finally succeeded. I can leave the mountain, haha. The figure laughed. Then, he directly tore open the void, took a step forward, and directly left this small world. On this day, a powerful energy fluctuation appeared in the eastern domain. A great figure was born. The dazzling golden light illuminated the whole world, and the entire eastern domain was shaken. Especially the East Sky Emperor, Yuan Gu, who was extremely nervous because he knew who was born. After being silent for so long, this guy finally came out. The monkey is born. Good, very good. Chapter 2657. Renhuang stepped on the ancient road to heaven. At this moment, everyone was nervous. That was Renhuang, the most powerful being in the world. Ghost King Fingdu wanted to stop Renhuang, thinking that Renhuang was going to destroy the forbidden area in the heaven realm. Destroying the forbidden area was definitely something that could affect both the heaven realm and the human realm. Now was not the time. Soon, Renhuang and Gu Fei appeared on the blood-red platform at the end of the road. Yes. Renhuang noticed the blood on the platform. The blood was crystal clear, as if it had just been splashed. There was a red light flowing on it. This blood is very evil, something bad has happened, Gu Fei said to Renhuang Jiang. The blood of a supreme being has an inextinguishable will to fight. Those people were injured, who was it? Jiang Renhuang murmured to himself. He pondered for a while. A supreme warrior being injured was not a small matter. One should know that those who could injure a supreme warrior must be at the same level as him. Gu Fei didn't dare to disturb Renhuang. At this moment, Ghost King Fingdu also arrived on the platform. Greetings, Senior Ghost King. Gu Fei quickly bowed to Ghost King Fingdu. Why aren't you staying in your ghost nest? What are you doing here? At this moment, Renhuang Jiang came back to his senses. He was holding the mountain and river cauldron. On top of the cauldron sat a thumb-sized old man. The old man was dozing off. Now is not the right time, Ghost King Fingdu said anxiously. What do you mean it's not the right time? Renhuang Jiang was confused. Didn't you want to destroy the forbidden area in the heaven realm? Ghost King Fingdu was confused. Who said I wanted to destroy the forbidden area? Renhuang Jiang said calmly. Then you guys. Ghost King Fingdu was even more confused. If he didn't want to destroy the forbidden area, then why did Renhuang bring the mountain and river cauldron here? Was he here to play? Senior Ghost King, it seems that you misunderstood. We are not going to destroy the forbidden area, Gu Fei quickly explained. Not to destroy the forbidden area. Ghost Emperor Fingdu was bewildered. However, it was impossible for a dignified human sovereign to lie to him. It seemed that there might really be an inside story behind this matter. I only sent Gu Fei into the heaven realm to undergo tribulation, the human emperor said. He originally didn't want to explain, but this Ghost Emperor Fingdu's background wasn't ordinary. He had people behind him, so he couldn't deal with him casually. You are the one who is going to undergo the tribulation, the holy venerate tribulation. Who was Ghost Emperor Fingdu? He could see through Gu Fei's cultivation at a glance. That unremarkable brat from back then had actually reached this step. So you want to send Gu Fei to the heaven realm? Ghost Emperor Fingdu seemed to have thought of something, and the way he looked at Gu Fei changed. One must know that the power of heaven's wrath in the human realm had disappeared. Going to the heaven realm instead of the mortal realm was an unnecessary move in the eyes of other cultivators, but in the eyes of Ghost Emperor Fingdu, it was necessary. This Gu Fei's ambition was higher than the sky. He was actually paving the way to become a supreme expert. Since Jiang Renhuang didn't want to destroy the forbidden area, Ghost Emperor Fingdu was relieved. However, sending someone into the heaven realm without destroying the forbidden area was not an easy task. The power of the forbidden area sealed the exit of the ancient road to heaven, but with Jiang Renhuang and the mountain and river cauldron, they definitely had the ability to break the seal. In the eyes of Ghost Emperor Fingdu, the combination of the human emperor and the extreme Dao Saint tool was more than enough to destroy the entire forbidden area, not to mention sending someone into the heaven realm. Let's begin, Jiang Renhuang said. At this time, the little old man who was dozing off on the mountain and river cauldron suddenly jumped up, and suddenly became 100 times more energetic. Let's get to work, let's get to work, let's get a good night's sleep after this, the little old man shouted. You sleepy thing. Gu Fei looked at the little old man snappily. You are the sleepy thing, your whole family are sleepy things. When the little old man heard Gu Fei's words, he immediately jumped up and shouted at Gu Fei. Rumble! At this time, Jiang Renhuang made his move. A surge of Emperor Ultimate Might exploded from his body, and the whole world seemed like it was going to collapse. Even Ghost Emperor Fengdu's heart was pounding. The invincibility of the human emperor was not just a legend. One should know that the ancient human emperor was a supreme existence that could stand shoulder to shoulder with the supremes. However, this Emperor Ultimate Might was not directed at Ghost Emperor Fengdu and the others. When the Emperor Ultimate Might appeared in the world, an equally terrifying aura surged from the depths of the western underworld sea. A huge underworld palace broke through the underworld sea and rose from the depths of the sea. Streams of chaotic air fell from the top of the underworld palace like a chaotic dragon. Emperor Ultimate Sovereign, I didn't think there would be such a being in this world. A violent divine sense spread out from the underworld palace. On the throne of the underworld palace sat a chaotic skeleton. Chaotic Dao runes revolved around the skeleton, emitting an extreme aura. The bones left behind by the Supremes were the primal Chaos Supreme bones. Each bone contained extremely powerful chaotic energy. This kind of creature would become the most terrifying and powerful existence in the world once it developed a spiritual sense. There is indeed a great secret in the forbidden area. Jiang Renhuang sensed the existence in the underworld palace and couldn't help but feel surprised. With his cultivation, he was not afraid of anything in this world. The appearance of the primal Chaos Supreme bones only made Jiang Renhuang slightly surprised. At this moment, the Supreme Emperor's divine aura from the human emperor was transmitted to the human world through the ancient road to heaven, shocking all the experts gathered in the sky market to the extreme. Even the saints couldn't bear the Emperor Ultimate Might at this time. Their souls were trembling, and they couldn't help but want to kneel down. This kind of pressure was too terrifying. The saints were high and mighty existences. How could they kneel down to others? However, the fear came from the depths of their souls. They couldn't control it at all. It was the most primitive reaction. The Emperor Ultimate Might could shake the heavens. Is Emperor Ultimate Might really flatten the forbidden area? Someone said. At this time, the Emperor Ultimate Might had already spread across the heaven realm. The experts of the heaven realm were instantly alarmed. Everyone was indescribably shocked. Emperor Ultimate Might, that direction. On a mountain in the western region of the heaven realm, a black-robed man who was sitting cross-legged on a boulder suddenly stood up. He then turned around and looked in the direction of the western underworld sea. Emperor, someone is using the Emperor Ultimate Weapon. Let's go and see. That person took a step forward and instantly disappeared into the void. Chapter 2658. The West Underworld Sea once again attracted the attention of all the experts in the heaven realm. Rumble. In the East region, in the Celestial City, an ancient formation platform vibrated. Runes intertwined with each other, and a figure disappeared from the ancient formation platform. Both the South region and the North region had ancient teleportation portals that were being revived. Peerless experts were using the ancient teleportation portals to travel between regions. When all the experts in the heaven realm were rushing towards the West Underworld Sea, Renhuang made his move. He stretched out his right hand and pressed towards the sky. He broke the seal of the forbidden area and created a spatial passageway. Humph, do you think I'm not here? A discontented divine sense came from the underworld palace. Then, a beam of chaotic light rushed out from the underworld palace, trying to cut off the spatial passageway. It's time for me to show up. At this moment, the mountain and river cauldron in Renhuang Zhang's hand flew up and enlarged rapidly. It rushed out from the bloody platform. The primordial chaos chi was vast and mighty. It broke the seal of the forbidden area and intercepted the beam of chaotic light. What's going on? The chaos skeleton in the underworld palace was taken aback. At this moment, an ancient cauldron had already crashed into the underworld palace. A wave of energy that made the chaos skeleton's heart palpitate spread from the ancient cauldron. Boom! With a loud bang, the ancient cauldron crashed into the underworld palace fiercely. The powerful impact sent the underworld palace flying. Cracks appeared on the surface of the underworld palace. At this moment, streaks of chaotic runes emerged from the underworld palace and stabilized the entire underworld palace. Otherwise, the entire underworld palace would have collapsed under the impact. Roar! A furious roar came from the underworld palace. The chaos skeleton in the underworld palace was shocked to the extreme. This ancient cauldron was so powerful. Could it be the legendary mountain and river cauldron? The chaos skeleton thought of this possibility. This thing is quite sturdy. The little old man came out from the mountain and river cauldron and said while scratching his messy hair. Cauldron soul. In the underworld palace, the chaotic skeleton was shocked again. It's an extreme sacred tool. It seems that you've prepared well. Do you want to flatten this place? The chaos skeleton's voice was cold and full of murderous intent. Can I? If you're afraid of dying again, then hurry up and scram. Otherwise, I'll kill you again. The little old man waved his fist fiercely and said, TSK, with just you? The chaos skeleton in the underworld palace sneered. Preposterous! How dare you look down on me? I'll teach you a lesson. The little old man seemed to be really angry. He then dove straight into the mountain and river cauldron. Buzz! The mountain river cauldron emitted a humming sound. The primordial chaos chi was vast and mighty. The mountain river cauldron immediately became blurry and a figure appeared in the void. The supreme saint weapon has transformed. The tone of the chaos skeleton in the underworld palace was extremely solemn. Only this kind of invincible divine weapon that had nurtured a god's will within it could transform. This was the unique magical ability of a supreme divine weapon. A tall and mighty figure clad in bronze armor appeared in the void. This person was none other than the little old man. If I get angry, the consequences will be severe. The little old man stared angrily at the chaos skeleton in the underworld palace. He waved his right hand and a primordial chaos divine sword appeared in his hand. Just as the god's will of the mountain and river cauldron was about to unleash its power, Jiang Rehuang immediately used the human emperor's magical ability and sent Gu Fei into the space tunnel that he had opened up. Boom! A terrifying aura filled the air. The god's will of the mountain and river cauldron transformed into a mighty god of war and fought against the chaos skeleton in the underworld palace. The entire West Underworld Sea was hit by the power of the extreme path, creating huge waves that reached the sky. The extreme path of power was exploding. The West Underworld Sea seemed like it was about to be destroyed. The little old man was really angry. He swung the primordial chaos sword in his hand, creating huge cracks in the void between heaven and earth. The chaos skeleton walked out of the underworld palace. It held the chaos battle spear in its hand and fought against the little old man. It was like a battle between two supreme beings of the extreme path. Everyone was shocked to the extreme. There were many ancient palaces hidden at the bottom of the West Underworld Sea. However, at this moment, these ancient palaces were like paper. Under the influence of the extreme path of power, they turned into dust. The powerful dead spirits in the ancient palaces were all destroyed. However, the ruler of the West Underworld Sea was the Chaos Skeleton. Those dead spirits were all destroyed. As long as the Chaos Skeleton was not dead, the West Underworld Sea would continue to exist. At this moment, Gu Fei's figure disappeared in the space tunnel. He was sent out. Everything went smoothly. Without the Chaos Skeleton stopping him, Gu Fei successfully entered the Heaven Realm. However, no one knew where he was sent to. All right, it's over. We should go. With a wave of Jiang Rehuang's hand, the space tunnel disappeared into the void. Even a powerful being like the Chaos Skeleton would find it difficult to track Gu Fei. Go my ass! I'm going to kill this guy, the little old man said angrily. As he spoke, he was still attacking. He was extremely strong, forcing the Chaos Skeleton to retreat. You don't have the right to kill me, the Chaos Skeleton said. Its body was filled with chaotic energy. The Chaos Divine fire in its skull was like a Chaos Divine sun, emitting a dazzling light. Damn you! Do you think I'm a sick cat if I don't show my power? The little old man was furious. The Chaos Primordial Sword light shot through the sky, almost cutting down the stars in the sky. The Chaos Primordial Sword slashed on the Chaos Skeleton, leaving sword marks. The Chaos Skeleton was shocked. This old man was really scary when he was angry. Kill. The Chaos Skeleton performed a great skill. Chaos Tao patterns intertwined and a huge seal appeared in the void. It then smashed towards the little old man. Roar! The little old man slashed out 3 times in a row and directly destroyed the primal chaos seal. Then, he stabbed his sword towards the skull of the primal chaos skeleton. Swoosh! The chaos skeleton's figure became blurry and disappeared in the void. The little old man's sword missed. All right, we should go, Jiang Renhuang said to the little old man telepathically. No, I'm going to kill this bastard. The little old man did not want to let the chaos skeleton go. Swoosh! At this moment, Jiang Renhuang took a step forward on the crimson platform and passed through the seal of the forbidden zone. Then, he slapped and a figure was pushed out. You! The chaos skeleton was shocked. It did not expect Jiang Renhuang to have such combat strength. At this moment, Jiang Renhuang stretched out his hand and grabbed the chaos skeleton. His 5 fingers were on the skull of the chaos skeleton. As long as he exerted force, the chaos skeleton would be destroyed. This. Chapter 2659. Jiang Renhuang made his move and captured the chaotic skeleton in an instant. Everyone who witnessed this scene was shocked to the extreme. That was an existence that could fight against the deity of the cauldron of mountain and river. It was a supreme expert cultivated from the remains of a supreme being. The chaotic supreme bone was so powerful that even a supreme divine weapon could not damage it. Even the little old man transformed from the god of the mountain and river cauldron was startled. He had fought against the chaos skeleton before, so he knew very well how powerful this undead spirit was. On the crimson platform in front of the ancient road to heaven, Ghost Emperor Fengdu was also dumbfounded. Jiang Renhuang's cultivation and strength were far beyond his imagination. Ghost Emperor Fengdu was shocked. The power of the chaotic skeleton was obvious to all. The deity of the cauldron of mountain and river was not a weakling. The cauldron of mountain and river was one of the oldest sacred weapons in the world. When the cauldron of mountain and river appeared, the supreme Tao ancestor and the martial ancestor were still nowhere to be found. At this moment, Jiang Renhuang's right hand clasped the skull of the chaotic skeleton. A powerful ultimate emperor energy surged from his hand and sealed the chaotic skeleton. The chaotic skeleton, which was strong enough to fight against the deity of the cauldron of mountain and river, could not even fight back in front of Jiang Renhuang. This scene was extremely shocking. Even the experts of the heaven realm were so shocked that their eyeballs almost popped out of their sockets. It should be known that the 3 great emperors and the demon lord had attacked the western underworld sea before, but they had all failed. How can there be such a powerful being in this world? The experts of the heaven realm could not imagine the ultimate emperor energy that was exuding from that person. Even the saints had the urge to kneel before the supreme Renhuang. Humph, killing you is as easy as killing a chicken. Jiang Renhuang looked at the chaotic skeleton and said indifferently. Don't. At this moment, the chaotic skeleton felt fear for the first time. Its life was under great threat. It was completely in the hands of the opponent. Its life was in the hands of the opponent. Renhuang! On the crimson platform in front of the ancient road to heaven, Ghost Emperor Fengdu's voice trembled. Haha, human emperor, hand him over to me. I will definitely make him beg for death. The little old man recovered from the shock and laughed. This chaos skeleton was really hateful. He couldn't wait to teach this chaos skeleton a lesson. Yes, the forbidden zone still has its value. Now is not the time to flatten it. Jiang Renhuang thought for a moment, then he raised his hand and threw the chaotic skeleton in his hand. Bang! The chaotic skeleton hit the underworld hall that was floating in the sky. Under the impact of the chaotic skeleton, the underworld hall immediately shook violently. The chaotic chi was vast and mighty, and it was on the verge of collapse. Thank you, human emperor, for not killing me. The chaos skeleton hurriedly saluted the human sovereign and rushed into the underworld palace. The entire underworld palace immediately descended from the sky and entered the depths of the underworld sea. Human emperor, why did you let that guy go? Seeing that Jiang Renhuang let go of the chaotic skeleton, the little old man in the cauldron of mountain and river was confused. Since he had already captured the chaotic skeleton, he might as well flatten this forbidden zone. Jiang Renhuang glanced at the unhappy little old man. He did not say anything and directly reached out his hand to grab the little old man. Wah, Renhuang, what are you doing? The little old man immediately flew towards Jiang Renhuang involuntarily. He turned back into a fist-sized cauldron and landed on Renhuang's right hand. Seeing this, everyone could feel the strength of Renhuang. Whether it was the chaotic skeleton or the cauldron of mountain and river, they were no match for him. Buzz! The cauldron of Jiang Renhuang's hand was shaking. It wanted to fly up into the sky and escape from Renhuang's control. You better behave. Before Gu Fei returns to the human world, you will follow me, Jiang Renhuang said to the cauldron of mountain and river. Then, the cauldron in his hand calmed down and no longer resisted. After keeping the cauldron of mountain and river, Renhuang disappeared into the void. In the next moment, he appeared on the blood-colored platform without a sound. It was strange. After Renhuang appeared, nothing ominous happened on the bloodstains on the platform. Those bloody shadows did not appear. Renhuang did not remove the bloodstains on the platform. Instead, he walked into the ancient road to heaven and disappeared. This was within Ghost Emperor Fengdu's expectation. However, it still made him tremble with fear. One should know that flattening a forbidden zone in the heaven realm was not a small matter. As the saying goes, pull one hair and the whole body will be affected. Flattening a forbidden zone in the heaven realm was not a small matter. Ghost King Fengdu heaved a sigh of relief when Jiang Renhuang didn't kill the chaos skeleton. It was not the right time yet. If they were not prepared, the consequences would be dire. Ghost Emperor Fengdu did not want to cause unnecessary trouble. However, a supreme existence like Renhuang Jiang was not someone that Ghost Emperor Fengdu could control. Moreover, there was another supreme existence in his ghost palace that was not weaker than Renhuang Jiang. These two supreme existences were definitely the biggest variable in this world. Because there was nothing in this world that they were afraid of. No one knew what kind of earth-shattering things they would do in the next moment. As the Renhuang left, a strange aura was immediately emitted from the crimson platform. Numerous crimson figures appeared in the void. This is... Ghost Emperor Fengdu was shocked. It seemed that only Renhuang could suppress the ominous aura here. After Renhuang left, this place immediately became different. The battle ended. Ghost Emperor Fengdu also rushed into the ancient road to heaven and disappeared. After Ghost Emperor Fengdu left, the bloody shadows that appeared on the blood-colored platform immediately disappeared in the void. It was as if they had never appeared. The water in the human realm is really deep. There is actually an invincible human emperor. Someone whispered outside the western underworld sea. The strength of Renhuang was obvious to all. Even the ruler of the Forbidden Zone was not a match for Renhuang. In the eyes of all the experts in the heaven realm, the human emperor definitely had the strength to flatten the Forbidden Zone. However, they did not know why Renhuang did not flatten the Forbidden Zone. This was very puzzling. Some old antiques thought of many things, but they could not say it out loud. Just as the battle in the West Netherworld Sea came to an end, somewhere in the heaven realm, the void high up in the sky suddenly shook like water ripples. Chapter 2660. Somewhere in the heaven realm, the space suddenly trembled. Then, a silhouette fell out of the void. This person was Gu Fei. After Gu Fei fell out of the void, he directly fell down from the sky and crashed into the forest below. In the next moment, Gu Fei flew up from the forest and arrived at a high altitude. He then scanned his surroundings. What he saw was an endless mountain range, verdant and full of life. Damn, what is this place? Gu Fei was dumbfounded. This place was deserted and he couldn't even ask around. Plus, there weren't any particularly strong living beings in this mountain range. Forget it, the reason why he asked Jiang Renhuang to help him enter the heaven realm was not to have fun, but to undergo the heavenly tribulation. Gu Fei then found a valley to settle down temporarily. The valley was filled with birdsong and fragrant flowers. The scenery was beautiful and it was one of the few places in the mountain range. He sat on a big rock in the depths of the valley and began to adjust his condition. One should know that he was about to face the heavenly tribulation of the Holy Sovereign. He must not be careless. Roar! After nightfall, the roars of some beasts could be heard from time to time in the mountain range. Strong silhouettes could be seen walking in the mountain range. However, Gu Fei was not afraid. Even if a holy sovereign came, he still had the strength to fight. The heavenly Tao in the heaven realm was complete and flawless. Gu Fei's ambition was higher than the sky. He was paving the way for him to become a powerhouse in the future. Time passed by. Gu Fei seemed to have merged with the void of this world, and could feel the great Tao of this world. This kind of perfect Tao of heaven and earth was exactly what the human world lacked. Gu Fei sensed the pulse of the heavens and earth and remained motionless, as though he had turned into a stone statue. He was in a mysterious state of cultivation. No one could sense Gu Fei's existence. Some beasts wandered outside the valley, but in the end, they did not enter. When the first rays of dawn appeared, Gu Fei woke up from his meditative state. He opened his eyes and stood up. After a night of meditation, he felt refreshed. Undergoing the tribulation here seems like a pretty good choice. Gu Fei suddenly thought of this. In a place where there were no traces of people, undergoing the tribulation here should not alarm anyone. However, he felt a little uneasy. Finally, Gu Fei shot up from the valley and arrived high up in the sky. After getting his bearings, he flew toward the south. After flying for 4 hours in a row, what entered his eyes was still an endless mountain range. This caused Gu Fei to be incomparably shocked. This mountain range was just too vast. This can't be the southern mountains, right? Gu Fei suddenly thought of this, and couldn't help being shocked. The southern mountain range was an incomparably vast mountain range in the southern part of the heavenly realm. Even if one could determine the direction, wanting to leave this place was not an easy matter. How unlucky! Gu Fei knew that Jiang Renhuang had most likely thrown him into the southern mountains. Otherwise, with his speed, he would have rushed out of the mountain range in 2 to 4 hours. That is, just as Gu Fei was getting impatient, a huge mountain suddenly appeared in front of him. On top of the mountain, there were pavilions and terraces. Haha, finally there are traces of people! Gu Fei was overjoyed. He immediately unleashed his 8-step speed and dashed toward the spiritual mountain. Very quickly, he arrived near the mountain. What's going on? When he got closer, Gu Fei was shocked to find that there was not a single person on the mountain. He was not in a hurry to ascend the mountain. He began to wander around the mountain and carefully observed. However, the conclusion he obtained was the same. There was nothing wrong with this place. However, the people here were gone. After confirming that there was no danger, Gu Fei climbed up the mountain. The people on the mountain seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Only some empty buildings were left. Very quickly, Gu Fei arrived at the top of the mountain. This is... The moment Gu Fei set foot on the top of the mountain, he was astonished by what he saw. On the top of the mountain, there was a giant blood cocoon. The blood cocoon reeked of blood. The blood cocoon did not emit any energy waves, but Gu Fei knew that this blood cocoon was not ordinary. I'm afraid the disappearance of the people on the mountain has something to do with this blood cocoon. Gu Fei thought of this possibility. He picked up a stone and threw it at the blood cocoon. Bang! The stone landed heavily on the blood cocoon and fell to the ground. Gu Fei stared at the blood cocoon nervously. However, the blood cocoon did not react at all. This made him feel even more uneasy. He was curious about what was inside the blood cocoon. Just as Gu Fei was about to attack again, the blood cocoon suddenly vibrated. A shocking aura exploded from the blood cocoon. What? Gu Fei's shock was no small matter. He could sense a demonic aura. It was as if a terrifying demon was being nurtured within the blood cocoon, turning blood into a cocoon and breaking the cocoon to be reborn. This is the technique of a blood demon. At this moment, Gu Fei could roughly guess where the people on the mountain had gone. Swoosh! At this moment, a blood light rushed out from the blood cocoon and wrapped around Gu Fei. Humph, you don't know what's good for you. Gu Fei sneered and punched forward. The strong fist force dispersed the blood light, and even the blood cocoon was sent flying. Buzz! The void shook and the blood cocoon seemed to have been hit. After that, it exploded with blood light and 9 blood-colored demonic marks appeared on the blood cocoon. Gu Fei did not hesitate. He flipped his right hand and a black sword appeared in his hand. This was the 9 Heaven Stars sword, a divine sword that he had refined himself. Swoosh! Gu Fei slashed at the blood cocoon in front of him. A black light rushed out from the divine sword and fell on the blood cocoon, splitting it in half. Roar! A furious roar came from the blood cocoon, and a crimson light soared into the sky. Then, a figure appeared in the sky. Brat, how dare you ruin my plan? I want you dead. The crimson shadow swooped down from the sky towards Gu Fei. A gust of wind immediately assaulted Gu Fei's nostrils, causing him to feel dizzy. Ha! Gu Fei smiled. Primal chaos divine light emerged from his body, and the 9th Heaven Star's sword in his hand blossomed with a dazzling black light. The cold sword chi spread out, and the surrounding temperature dropped rapidly. Swoosh! Chapter 2661. The blood demon used blood as its power. The more blood it devoured, the stronger it would become. There used to be a cultivation sect on this mountain, but the entire sect had disappeared. Needless to say, they must have been devoured by this blood demon. It devoured a large amount of blood essence, and then transformed into a cocoon at the top of the mountain. However, it did not expect Gu Fei to pass by at this time. He noticed a strange phenomenon on the mountain and went up to check. This blood demon was unlucky. Swoosh! With a flash of sword light, Gu Fei slashed the blood demon that was pouncing at him into 2. However, just when Gu Fei thought that he had gotten rid of the blood demon that he had split into 2 halves turned into 2 clouds of blood mist, and then merged back together. The blood mist surged and a figure reappeared in the void. The pungent smell of blood permeated the void, and the vitality of the surrounding flowers and trees rapidly disappeared. Large patches of grass and trees rapidly withered and turned yellow. Interesting. Gu Fei looked at the blood figure in the void. He did not make a move. This blood demon was not ordinary. It did not die after being slashed by his 9 Heaven Stars sword. You spoiled my plan. I'm going to eat you. A blood-colored figure appeared. It was a young man dressed in blood-colored clothes. He had a head full of blood-colored hair and a face as pale as paper. He was surrounded by a bloody light. On this young man's forehead, there was a blood-colored demonic mark vaguely appearing. Ha ha! It's not certain who will eat who. Gu Fei laughed. Blood swallows the world. Blood Demon roared and waved his hands. A strange blood-red light immediately appeared in the sky. The blood-red light surged and a blood-red vortex appeared in the void. Rumble! The heaven and earth shook. The blood-colored vortex in the sky emitted a powerful devouring force. Then, it tried to devour Gu Fei. The surrounding essence chi immediately gathered from all directions and entered the vortex. At this moment, Gu Fei stood proudly at the peak of the mountain. No matter how powerful the blood-colored vortex was, it was unable to shake him in the slightest. Soon, all the wood essence on the mountain was completely devoured by the blood-colored vortex in the sky, and all the plants on the mountain were rapidly withering. That's all you've got. Gu Fei stood there, not even his clothes and hair moved. His entire body was enveloped by a chaotic light. Even though he was in the center of the blood-colored storm, he was still fearless. "You!" That blood devil was incomparably shocked. This human was not simple. It seemed like he would be hard to deal with. "All right, it's time to end this." Gu Fei looked calmly at the blood demon in the sky as a shocking battle intent erupted from his body. "Kill!" The blood demon roared and swooped down from the sky. A total of 9 blood shadows rushed out in all directions. The blood shadow that Gu Fei's primordial soul sword secret art had destroyed was just one of the 9. A shadow wrapped around the blood saber and rushed into the sky in an attempt to escape. "Trying to escape? It won't be that easy." The 9 heavenly star sword in Gu Fei's hand flew up and transformed into a black beam of light that shot into the sky. It instantly caught up to the blood saber and slashed it down from the sky. At the same time, beams of chaotic divine light constantly surged out from between Gu Fei's eyebrows. They transformed into swords that slashed at the fleeing blood shadows. At that moment, the blood demon finally understood the gap between him and his opponent. If his opponent wanted to kill him, it would be like child's play. If he didn't escape now, he would probably lose his life here. However, just as Gu Fei had said, it was a tragedy for the blood demon to encounter him. The remaining 8 blood shadows were constantly destroyed by the chaotic sword light that chased after them. The blood demon, who had once treated Gu Fei as food, was destroyed just like that. Just as Gu Fei destroyed the blood demon's primordial soul, a divine light appeared in the distant sky. Some experts were alarmed. However, Gu Fei ignored that person and extended his hand. The blood saber that had fallen from the sky flew towards him and landed in his hand. "This saber isn't bad." Chapter 2662. The demonic nature of the blood blade made it a peerless demonic weapon. No one could wield this demonic weapon other than the experts of the demonic path. The demonic nature of the weapon could turn a cultivator into a devil. Gu Fei took out the purple gold divine sword and sliced the demonic blade in half. A demonic weapon like this would only harm people if it was left in the world. If other devils were to get their hands on it, there was no telling how many living beings would die under this demonic blade. At this time, many figures appeared in the distance. The commotion caused by the battle between Gu Fei and the blood demon was so great that it alarmed many people. "Who is this person? Isn't that destroyed demonic blade the blood demon's bloodthirsty demonic blade?" Someone whispered. "He's the one who killed the blood demon. When did such an expert appear in Sunset Mountain?" Someone noticed the demonic aura that hadn't completely dissipated. The air was still filled with the stench of blood. Swoosh! At this time, Gu Fei suddenly disappeared into the void. In the next moment, he appeared in front of a black-bearded middle-aged man. The black-bearded middle-aged man was shocked when he saw Gu Fei suddenly appear in front of him. Greetings, senior!" The black-bearded middle-aged man didn't dare to be negligent. He hurriedly bowed to Gu Fei and addressed himself as a junior. The fact that this person could kill the blood demon that even the Southern Ridge God Emperor couldn't do anything about, meant that he definitely had a powerful background. The black-bearded middle-aged man couldn't help but tremble in fear. I have some questions to ask you. You must answer them honestly." Gu Fei glanced at the black-bearded middle-aged man and said. This was the second cultivator he met since coming to this place. The first one was naturally the blood demon. He wanted to know what this place was from the black-bearded middle-aged man. "Yes, this junior will tell you everything he knows." "Please ask away, senior," the black-bearded middle-aged man said carefully. When Gu Fei saw the middle-aged cultivator trembling with fear, he didn't say anything and directly asked him what he wanted to know. Very quickly, Gu Fei found out from the black-bearded middle-aged man that this was indeed the Southern Mountains. It was a place called the Sunset Mountain Range in the boundless mountain range of the Southern Mountains. There used to be a sect here called the Heavenly Spirit Sect. However, the name of the Heavenly Spirit Sect had been removed. Even the mountain where the sect was located had been razed to the ground. 1,000 miles away, there was a city called Luoxia City. This Luoxia city was the territory of the Southern Mountains God Emperor. In the Southern Mountains, there were two great emperors. One was the Southern Mountains God Emperor, and the other was the Fire Emperor. The Southern Mountains God Emperor was extremely powerful, but he was afraid of the Fire Emperor. After all, the Fire Emperor was a super antique. He had been sleeping in the fire vein of the earth for countless years. When this emperor was born, he caused a great commotion. The current Nanling Mountains was actually divided and ruled. The two emperors each had their own territories, and the two emperors were very careful and did not want to fight to the death with each other. Very good! After listening to the black-bearded middle-aged man, Gu Fei directly took out a spiritual herb and gave it to the black-bearded middle-aged man before leaving. The black-bearded middle-aged man was stunned. After Gu Fei left for a while, the black-bearded middle-aged man came back to his senses and was ecstatic. His cultivation had reached a bottleneck. This spiritual herb could definitely help him break through his current cultivation shackles and increase his cultivation greatly. Thank you, Semir. The black-bearded middle-aged man hurriedly left because at this time, the gazes of the people in the distance had become somewhat unfriendly, which made him feel uneasy. For the current Gu Fei, the distance of 1,000 miles was covered in the blink of an eye. In just a few steps, a city appeared in front of him. It was a city built with huge rocks. The city wasn't big, but there were many cultivators in the city. Of course, most of the residents were ordinary people. This is Luoxia City? Gu Fei stopped in the sky and looked down at the city. His powerful divine sense swept across the city. He found that the most powerful cultivator in the city wasn't in the city lord's mansion, but in an extremely simple house. This simple house was located in the poor area of the city and was very inconspicuous. No one knew that the owner of this house was actually the most powerful existence in Luoxia City. What's going on? In the house in the poor area, an old man suddenly stood up and walked out. He looked up into the sky with an extremely deep gaze, as if he could see through a person's soul. Gu Fei didn't pay attention to the old man. Interesting, the most powerful person in Luoxia City isn't actually living in the city lord's mansion. A playful smile appeared on Gu Fei's face. He touched his chin and took a step forward, appearing in the sky above the city lord's mansion. Enemy attack! Just as Gu Fei appeared in the sky above the city lord's mansion, a loud shout came from the city lord's mansion, completely breaking the peace in the city lord's mansion. The city lord's mansion was in chaos as divine generals rushed out. Whoosh! A divine light rushed out of the city lord's mansion and turned into a light shield, enveloping the entire city lord's mansion. The protective formation of the city lord's mansion had been activated. Gu Fei smiled. He took a step forward and directly passed through the layer of light shield, appearing in the city lord's mansion. The protective formation was useless to him. At his level of cultivation, even a great sage-level magical formation couldn't stop him. Moreover, the protective formation of the city lord's mansion wasn't a holy formation. Who are you? Why did you break into this place? A divine general in divine armor braced himself and shouted at Gu Fei. His voice was trembling. His opponent's cultivation was too powerful. He could actually pass through the protective formation and enter the city lord's mansion. Why? Isn't the master of this place here? Gu Fei stood on the square in front of the city lord's mansion's main hall, looked around and said. At this time, the divine soldiers guarding the city lord's mansion rushed out from all directions and surrounded Gu Fei. A fierce aura filled the void. It could be seen that these were elite soldiers who had seen blood. Otherwise, these divine soldiers wouldn't be surrounded by evil qi. I didn't know that fellow Taoist had arrived. This old man didn't go out to welcome you. At this time, an old man in purple clothes and a golden crown walked out of the main hall of the city lord's mansion. Are you the master of this place? Gu Fei glanced at the old man who was walking towards him. He found that this old man was just an immortal emperor. However, it was already good to have an immortal emperor in this place. Yes, this old man is the city lord of Luoxia City. May I know why fellow Taoist has come here? Chapter 2663. The arrival of Gu Fei shocked the city lord of Luoxia City. One should know that Luoxia City wasn't a big city. Very few existences above the sage realm would come here. Luoxia City was located in the middle of a mountain. It was already very good to have an immortal emperor here, let alone a quasi-saint. The city lord of Luoxia City was only an immortal emperor. Naturally, he couldn't see through Gu Fei's strength. Because he couldn't see through Gu Fei's strength, the old immortal emperor became even more uneasy. The old immortal emperor welcomed Gu Fei into the main hall of the city lord mansion. Gu Fei didn't stand on ceremony and directly sat on the throne in the middle of the main hall, causing everyone in the hall to be astonished. Seeing Gu Fei turning from guest to host, the old immortal emperor's white eyebrows couldn't help but tremble a few times. Although he was dissatisfied, he didn't dare to say anything. The high-ranking figures of Luoxia City on both sides of the main hall didn't know what to do. They all looked at the old immortal emperor. Fellow Taoists, this. The old immortal emperor felt very uncomfortable under everyone's gaze. In the end, he braced himself and said to Gu Fei. However, he didn't have the confidence to say anything. I will be staying here for a while. Gu Fei glanced at the old immortal emperor and said with an expressionless face. In the eyes of the strong, the weak could only be ordered around. The law of the jungle was the eternal law of the cultivation world. What? Everyone was taken aback when they heard this. Who was this person? He actually treated them as if they didn't exist. As soon as he arrived, he already regarded himself as the master of this place. This person was too arrogant. Some people in the main hall were very dissatisfied, but since these people were able to stand in the main hall, they were all astute people. When they saw that the old immortal emperor didn't even dare to breathe heavily in front of this person, they knew that this person wasn't a good person. Gu Fei was sitting on the throne. The expressions of the people below naturally fell into his eyes, but he didn't care. With a wave of his hand, a void passage immediately appeared in the void. Two figures walked out of the void passage. These were two masked women. However, even though they were masked, everyone in the hall knew that these two fairies definitely possessed peerless beauty. Everyone in the hall felt dizzy when they saw the two women walking out of the void passage. That old immortal emperor's expression changed drastically. He could sense the cultivation of one of the women. That white-robed woman was actually a quasi-sage. A powerful sage aura permeated the air, causing his heart to palpitate. As for the other woman, he was still unable to see through her cultivation. Another sage. The old immortal emperor was incomparably shocked. Two sages and a quasi-sage actually came to Luoxia City at once. How could they still live? Father! After the veiled girl walked out of the void passage, she saw Gu Fei sitting on the throne. She immediately rushed over and hugged Gu Fei's arm. This is the heaven realm. Yan'er stood in the hall, sensing the pulse of the heaven and earth. Sure enough, the law of heaven and earth was very different from the human realm. Father, are we really in the heaven realm? Guling asked excitedly. Yes, we are in the heaven realm. Gu Fei patted Guling's head dotingly and said with a smile. Haha, we are really in the heaven realm. Father, is there any fun place in the heaven realm? Guling said excitedly. Linger, you only know how to play. You should work hard on your cultivation. At this time, Yan'er also walked over. The heaven realm is not like the human realm. If you wander around recklessly, be careful of getting into trouble, Gu Fei said seriously. At this time, everyone in the hall was stunned by the conversation between Gu Fei and his family. Even the old immortal emperor was the same. These people actually came from the human realm. From the human realm? How was this possible? The old immortal emperor was extremely shocked. The path to the mortal realm had long been severed. No one could enter the heaven realm from the human realm, and no one could enter the human realm from the heaven realm. Could it be that the legendary heaven road had reopened? The old immortal emperor had lived for countless years. Although he was the city lord of this remote Luoxia city, he more or less knew some of the secrets of the heaven realm. Alright, I'm going to go into seclusion. If you have something to do, just crush the talisman I gave you. As Gu Fei spoke, he called out to the old immortal emperor, telling him to bring him to the cultivation place of the city lord mansion. He was going to undergo his tribulation. In the heaven realm, his cultivation was still not enough. If he encountered the eastern domain heavenly emperor, he might not be able to defeat him. Only by breaking through to the Saint Venerable realm could he compete with the experts in the heaven realm. Gu Fei had a premonition that if those disappeared supremes returned, he would be in trouble. At this time, everyone in the hall did not dare to breathe loudly. The origins of these three people were too big. It was hard to imagine that these three people were experts from the human realm who entered the heaven realm from the human realm. Although Luoxia City was located in a remote mountain, there was still a lot of news that spread to Luoxia City. Some people had already received the news that the ancient road to heaven had appeared. The Fire Emperor had even led 100,000 Fire Emperor soldiers to attack the western underworld sea. The failure of the Fire Emperor made the experts under the Southern Mountains God Emperor see an opportunity. These days, the Southern Mountains God Emperor's army and the Fire Emperor's soldiers were constantly in conflict. At this time, the atmosphere in the Southern Mountains was very tense. Compared to Luoxia City, the remote mountain did not have such a tense atmosphere. After Gu Fei explained some things to Yan'er and Gu Ling, he went into the back of the city lord mansion under the guidance of the old immortal emperor, and went into seclusion. When Gu Fei entered the back hall, Gu Ling cheered and directly rushed out of the city lord mansion. Linger! Upon seeing this, Yan hurriedly chased after him, leaving behind a group of Luoxia City's higher-ups in the hall who were inexplicably surprised. The three people didn't put them in their eyes at all. Everyone disperse! Just when everyone was at a loss as to what to do, the old immortal sovereign walked out from the back of the hall, sighed, and said to everyone, "City Lord, what's going on?" Someone couldn't help but ask, "What's going on?" The old immortal emperor said snappily. He was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. Who knew what he was feeling right now? "Who are these three people?" someone asked carefully. "You asked me, who should I ask?" The old immortal emperor snorted coldly and directly walked out of the hall, ignoring the crowd. Chapter 2664. The old city lord of Luoxia City had been extremely depressed in the past few days. His city lord mansion had been requisitioned by Gu Fei, so he had no choice but to temporarily live in a courtyard outside the city. However, he quickly reported the situation of Luoxia City through a special channel. However, what puzzled the old immortal emperor was that the higher-ups didn't seem to have any reaction, nor did they send anyone to understand the situation. This made the old immortal emperor even more afraid to act rashly. One must know that two sages and a quasi-sage were absolutely not something the old immortal emperor could deal with unless the higher-ups sent someone. But now, the conflict between the South Mountain God Emperor and the Fire Emperor was constantly intensifying, and a war could break out at any time. At this time, who would care about a small city in the mountains? In this way, Gu Fei could carefully adjust his state without any interference, and make the final preparations for the heavenly tribulation. Time passed, and in the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. In this half a month, Luoxia City was in chaos because of Gu Ling. Everyone knew that a little devil princess had come to Luoxia City. The plebeians in Luoxia City were afraid of Gu Ling. Whenever Gu Ling appeared, they would take a detour. Some plebeians even left Luoxia City in order to avoid Gu Ling. The immortal emperor's mansion was located in a valley 100 miles away from Luoxia City. Spiritual energy lingered around the place, and there were pavilions dotted among the green trees and flowers. There was also a spirit spring that lingered around the pavilion, and there was a small bridge over the flowing water. It was a quiet paradise on earth. Whoosh! On this day, a figure descended from the sky and landed outside the valley where the immortal emperor's mansion was located. "Oh, this old guy's courtyard is not bad." Gu Ling stood on a big stone and looked at the valley in front of her. She saw a spiritual light soaring into the sky in front of the valley. It was actually a place where spiritual energy gathered. This was absolutely unique in the Luoxia mountain range. One must know that Gu Ling had played all over the mountain range, and this was the only place she had not been to yet. There were no particularly powerful creatures in the mountains, so Gu Fei and Yenna let Gu Ling play outside without restraining the little devil princess. I wonder if the old man is inside. A crafty glint flashed in Gu Ling's eyes, and she chuckled as she charged forward. She activated the void reflection technique of the 9 secrets of immortal Tao, and the mighty power of the technique immediately spread from her body. She seemed to have fused with the surrounding void, causing the void to distort. She directly passed through the great array that enveloped the entire valley and entered the valley without alerting anyone. What a great place! That old guy really knows how to enjoy life. When Gu Ling entered the valley and saw the scenery inside, his eyes lit up. The spiritual energy here was much denser than the outside world. In the center of the valley, there was a pavilion. Next to the pavilion was a small lake. This small lake was formed by the water of the spirit spring, and the spiritual energy was overwhelming. At this time, a little girl was sitting on a rock by the lake. She put her bare feet into the water and played with the water from time to time. At this moment, a figure silently appeared behind the little girl and looked at her with interest. The little girl looked no more than 4 or 5 years old. Her skin was very white, and she looked like a porcelain doll. Her hair was tied up in 2 pigtails, and she had an otherworldly temperament. After playing for a while, the little girl suddenly started coughing, and she couldn't stop. The more she coughed, the more severe it became. Finally, she spat out a mouthful of scarlet blood. Only then did she calm down. Gu Ling was very surprised. How could such a beautiful little girl be like this? Could it be that she had some sort of hidden illness? She hurriedly scanned the little girl's body with her spiritual will. There's something strange indeed. Gu Ling's heart trembled. This little girl probably didn't have long to live. If she didn't save her, she would only have a month left. At this time, Gu Ling sensed that someone was rapidly approaching. She hurriedly retreated into the pavilion and hid. Yenner, why are you here? An old voice sounded, and the figure of a white-haired old man appeared behind the little girl. Grandpa. The little girl hurriedly stood up, and seemed to be a little flustered. Yenner, didn't Grandpa tell you to recuperate in the house these few days? You really didn't listen. The old man shook his head helplessly. He was very clear about his granddaughter's condition. She probably wouldn't live for long, unless she found the legendary sacred medicine. However, sacred medicine wasn't that easy to find. The South Mountains God Emperor had a stock of sacred medicine, but sacred medicine was incomparably precious. Why would the South Mountains God Emperor use it for her? The old immortal Emperor knew his own limitations. In the eyes of the South Mountains God Emperor, immortal emperors were actually no different from ants. This old immortal emperor originally had a son and daughter-in-law. However, his son and daughter-in-law died in a conflict with the Fire Emperor's war weapon, leaving behind a little girl. This little girl was injured when she was still in her mother's womb. Her body was invaded by a coldine energy, and she suffered from extreme pain the moment she was born. The little girl's real age was over 10 years old, but her body grew slowly, and she still looked like a 4 or 5-year-old girl. Yenner, come back with me. The old immortal emperor stretched out his hand towards the little girl and said, The little girl nodded obediently and walked towards the old man. Old man, I didn't expect you to have such a cute granddaughter. Just as the old immortal emperor was about to take the little girl away, Gu Ling walked out of the pavilion. It's you? The old immortal emperor was shocked, but when he saw that the person who came was Gu Ling, he heaved a sigh of relief. How did you get in here? The old immortal emperor felt that something was wrong. One should know that this mansion of his was enveloped and protected by a grand formation. Ordinary cultivators couldn't enter at all. Your place isn't some dragon's pool or tiger's den. Why can't I come in? Gu Ling said with a smile. Big sister, you're so beautiful. At this moment, the little girl that the old immortal emperor was holding suddenly said with an incomparably young voice. Huh! Gu Ling couldn't help but be startled. She was masked, so how could this little girl see her face? Just as Gu Ling was bewildered, she suddenly saw runes vanishing in the little girl's eyes. Innate Tao eyes? Gu Ling was shocked. This little girl wasn't simple. There was a tenacious vitality in her body that was resisting the cold energy in her body. Otherwise, she would have died the moment she was born, and definitely wouldn't have lasted until now. I've misjudged. So this little girl not only has innate Tao eyes, but she also has the wood elemental physique of the 5 elemental physiques. Chapter 2665. The innate eyes of the Tao could see through all illusions and see the origin. Gu Ling never thought that she would encounter the legendary innate eyes of the Tao. Furthermore, the person who possessed the innate eyes of the Tao was a little girl who was about to die. Although Gu Ling was masked, the little girl, Yener, could still see her true appearance with a single glance. At this moment, the old immortal emperor seemed somewhat nervous. One must know that this mansion was protected by a grand formation. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to enter this place without a sound. Yet, the other party actually managed to do so. Innate Tao eyes, wood elemental physique. Little sister, your talent is truly shocking. Gu Ling was a quasi-saint, only a step away from becoming a saint. She had a fire elemental physique. She could tell that the little girl was extraordinary with a single glance. What do you want? The old immortal emperor protected the little girl behind him and spoke nervously. If I had any hostility, you guys would have died countless times already. Gu Ling smiled. She never thought that she would meet such a heaven-defying existence in such a remote place. A person who had innate Tao eyes and wood elemental physique, one wouldn't be able to find a second one in the entire heaven realm. The old immortal emperor thought about it, and agreed. The other party was a quasi-saint. Killing him would be like playing with a child. Sister, are you very powerful? The little girl popped her head out from behind the old immortal emperor and asked innocently. The little girl was already in her teens, but her body still looked like that of a 4 or 5-year-old. Moreover, she had been living here ever since she could remember things. Among the people she knew, other than her grandfather, there were only the 2 big sisters who served her. She had never met a stranger before. Of course, I'm even more powerful than your grandfather. Gu Ling spoke. She really liked this little girl. This little girl was like a celestial spirit from the heavens. She had a natural and transcendent aura. Perhaps even the heavens were jealous of this little girl, sending down such a calamity. It's true. The little girl had an innocent look. It's true. Are you willing to take me as your master? I will teach you supreme techniques. Gu Ling's love for talent was aroused. One must know that someone with innate Tao eyes and wood elemental physique was not someone she could easily meet. Since she met her, there was no reason to let her go. You have a way to save Yena. When the old immortal emperor heard this, he couldn't help but tremble with excitement. He was very clear about his granddaughter's situation. Yenna only had a month to live. The cold energy inside Yenna's body had been eating away at her life force. If Yenna hadn't been born with a wood elemental constitution, she would have died a long time ago. Yenna, are you willing to take me as your master? Gu Ling ignored the old immortal emperor and looked seriously at the little girl as she spoke. Accepting a disciple wasn't a small matter. If this little girl didn't agree, she wouldn't force her. One must know that when a master accepts a disciple, it depends on fate, and when a disciple accepts a master, it also depends on fate. Yenner. At this moment, the old immortal emperor was incomparably nervous. He knew that since this woman wanted to accept Yenner as her disciple, she would definitely be able to cure Yenner. This was Yenner's only hope of survival. Even if this woman couldn't save Yenner, there were still 2 saints behind her. When he thought of this, the old immortal emperor almost agreed on behalf of Yenner. Nothing was more important than Yenner's survival. Sister, do you know that Yenner is dying? The little girl suddenly spoke in a sad tone. What? Gu Ling was very surprised when she heard this. She didn't expect that the little girl would say such a thing. Yenner knows. Yenner only has a month left to live. Yenner doesn't want sister to be sad. Yenner doesn't want to take you as my master. The little girl bit her lips as she spoke. Gu Ling's expression changed. This little girl was very sensible. She knew that her body was in a terrible state, and she didn't want to take anyone as her master because she didn't want to be sad. What if I am able to cure you? Guling pondered and asked. If that's the case, then I will take sister as my master. This way, I won't have to die, and Grandpa won't have to be sad. The little girl instantly rejoiced when she heard this. Then why aren't you taking me as your master? Guling smiled. How should I do it? The cute little girl tilted her head as she pondered. Hee. Guling was somewhat speechless when she heard this. Yenner, quickly kneel down and kowtow to your master. The old immortal emperor came back to his senses and hurriedly spoke to the little girl. He was incomparably excited. This girl had a very powerful background. If he could form a relationship with these people, it would absolutely be what he wished for. When the little girl heard her grandfather's words, she immediately walked out from behind her grandfather's back obediently, and knelt down in front of Guling. All right, I hate these unnecessary formalities the most. Get up. You can be considered my disciple now. Guling helped the little girl up. Yes, sister master. The little girl was very happy. The old immortal emperor was speechless when he saw this. Wasn't this too childish? One must know that accepting a disciple and acknowledging a master was an incomparably important matter. However, he didn't dare to say anything. If he made this girl unhappy and didn't accept Yenner as her disciple, then Yenner would die a month later. Even with the old immortal emperor's cultivation base, it would be hard for him to extend Yenner's life unless he found the legendary longevity fruit or invited a saint realm existence to treat Yenner. Other than that, there was no other way to extend Yenner's life. The legendary longevity fruit was a sacred medicine. Even those saint venerables in the heavenly realm would find it difficult to obtain such a sacred medicine, let alone a puny immortal emperor. Immortal emperors in the current heavenly realm were no longer important figures. For example, the old immortal emperor could only be an ordinary city lord under the command of the Southern Mountains God Emperor. In the entire Southern Mountains, there were countless cities under the control of the Southern Mountains God Emperor. If Yenner acknowledged this girl as her master, her life would not be in danger. Moreover, with Yenner's physique, she would definitely soar into the sky with a single leap. Her future would be limitless, and she would be able to avenge her parents. The old immortal emperor's eyes couldn't help but turn red when he thought of Yenner's dead parents. Yenner, let's go. Master will bring you to a place to treat your injuries and then teach you a great technique. While speaking, Guling directly crushed a jade talisman. A ball of divine light immediately rose from her hand and soared into the sky. A whirlpool immediately appeared above her head. She grabbed Yenner and soared into the sky, instantly entering the whirlpool in the sky. Then, the whirlpool disappeared as if it had never appeared. When the old immortal emperor saw this scene, he was dumbfounded. Inner world, was this the legendary inner world? The old immortal emperor muttered to himself. At his level of cultivation, he naturally knew about the existence of inner worlds. However, it was definitely not an easy task to open up one that belonged to oneself. This mysterious girl was merely a quasi-saint, yet she had already opened up her own inner world. This was simply too heaven-defying. The old immortal emperor was truly stunned by Guling. He couldn't regain his senses for a long time. At this time, Guling brought Yenner into Gu Fei's inner world. The old immortal emperor didn't know that the inner world that Guling brought Yenner into wasn't a world that she had opened up herself. Master, big sister, where is this place? On top of a mountain, the little girl held Guling's hand and asked. This place was filled with lingering spiritual energy. The density of the spiritual energy here was even denser than the immortal emperor's side residence. The little girl had a wood elemental physique. Naturally, she could sense the huge vitality in this part of the world. This is a world opened up by your Grandmaster. It's a divine land. I'll bring you to the divine spring of life now to heal your injuries. After speaking, Guling directly soared into the sky with Yenner, flying towards the depths of this part of the world. Very quickly, they arrived at the periphery of the central region of this divine land, next to a divine spring of life. Yennefer couldn't help but feel incomparably shocked when she sensed the life essence gushing out from the spring. The amount of life essence in the spring was too vast. What made the little girl even more shocked was that there was actually a mystical plant next to the spring. It was a blood-colored tree with a blood-colored human-shaped fruit growing on it. Could this be the longevity fruit that Grandpa was talking about? Yennefer's mouth was agape as she spoke in disbelief. She actually saw the legendary longevity fruit? Was this real? Wasn't this just a dream? She still thought that she was dreaming. It's just a saint herb, there's no need to make a fuss about it. Guling said disapprovingly. Big sister master, Grandpa once said that if I eat that fruit I'll get better. The little girl pointed at the blood-colored fruit on the blood tree next to the spring. There's no need to eat any fruit. Just jump into the spring and soak in it. You'll quickly recover, Guling said. The divine spring contained boundless life force. Not only could it cure Yennefer, but it could also stimulate her potential and make her body even stronger. Oh! Yennefer's expression was adorable, her eyes still unable to leave the longevity fruit. Go down, Guling said to Yennefer. Yes, big sister master. Yennefer reluctantly withdrew her gaze and walked directly into the spring. Her entire body was submerged in the water, and the life essence immediately seeped into her through her pores. At this time, Guling sat down on a boulder beside the heavenly spring. Very quickly, Yennefer's vitality was stimulated. A violet light appeared in her dantian, like a withered tree coming to life in the spring. Yennefer's life force was on the verge of being extinguished, and she only had a month to live. But now, her life force was reignited, and the life essence of the spring continued to seep into her body. Her life force grew stronger and stronger, until it was able to suppress the cold energy inside her. Chapter 2666. The heavenly spring of life was the rarest and most precious thing in the heavens and earth. It was the place where the chi of heaven and earth gathered. In just a little more than 2 hours, the colding chi in Yennefer's body was completely dissolved by the life essence. A powerful life fluctuation surged out from Yennefer's body. In her dantian, a purple light bloomed with resplendent light, illuminating her entire body. Not only did the yin chi in Yennefer's body disappear, the potential of her wood elemental physique was also stimulated. Her entire body was filled with vitality. Not bad. Guling, who was sitting cross-legged on a large rock beside the heavenly spring of life, couldn't help but nod. The life essence was cleansing Yennefer's body. The pain Yennefer had endured for more than 10 years was cured in just a little more than 2 hours. This was even more effective than eating the longevity fruit. Yennefer didn't expect her master to have such means to heal her injuries so quickly. If the old immortal emperor knew that Guling healed Yennefer in just 2 hours, his jaw would probably drop to the ground. He had worked hard for more than 10 years and still couldn't cure Yennefer. Yet Guling healed her in just 2 hours. This was the gap between them. Yennefer circulated her cultivation art, drawing the dense life essence into her body. Her body was undergoing an incredible change. Her flesh and blood were trembling as her body slowly grew. Her appearance and height changed from 4 to 8 years old. Her entire being was filled with spiritual chi, like the most outstanding masterpiece of the heavens. The purple light in Yennefer's dantian continued to grow. The purple light was filled with vitality, illuminating all the muscles and bones in her body. A vast life force surged through her body. Her meridians glowed like spider webs as they appeared on her body. Yennefer's body was still transforming. She was like a plant filled with vitality, crazily absorbing the nutrients in the surroundings. One had to say that the life force of a wood elemental physique was truly tenacious. After 1 day and 1 night, Yennefer finally stopped and walked out of the heavenly spring. She had a feeling that she hadn't had enough and didn't want to leave the heavenly spring. The boundless life force in the heavenly spring would definitely be of great benefit to her. Very good. Guling, who was sitting cross-legged on the boulder, opened her eyes and stood up. She looked at Yennefer, who had already walked to the bottom of the boulder. At this moment Yennefer was like a completely different person from her sickly appearance from before. She was full of energy, and the sickly look on her face had long disappeared. Her height had also changed, and her original clothes seemed to be too narrow for her. Gu Ling didn't have any clothes for the little girl, so he could only buy some clothes, shoes, socks, and other daily necessities for Yener. Sister Master. The little girl bowed to Gu Ling. Not bad, I will teach you the cultivation method of our sect. Gu Ling jumped down from the boulder. He extended his right index finger and pointed it at Yener's forehead. A ripple of consciousness immediately followed his finger and imprinted itself into Yener's mind. In an instant Yener felt as if something was forcibly shoved into her mind. Soon Gu Ling retracted his finger. All right, take your time to cultivate here. I will come back in a month to test you. Understood? Gu Ling left for the place where the Meng family was located after giving them some instructions. There should be quite a lot of clothes for little girls in the Meng family. When Gu Ling arrived at the valley where the Meng family resided, Meng Long personally welcomed his uncle master into a pavilion of the Meng family. Martial uncle, why are you back again? Are you still thinking about the ancestral dragon herb? Meng Long knew that Gu Ling wanted to capture the ancestral dragon herb, but it wasn't easy to do so. Even if she threatened and bribed it, it would only succeed temporarily. In the end, the ancestral dragon herb would still be able to come and go as it pleased, and no one could restrain it. No, martial nephew, I have something for you to do for me, Gu Ling said to Meng Long. Martial uncle, feel free to tell me what you need. Meng Long hurriedly replied respectfully. Very well, help me find a few sets of clothes for 7 or 8-year-old girls, Gu Ling said. What? It's that simple? Meng Long couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. He thought that Gu Ling had something important for him to do, but he didn't expect it to be to buy clothes for the little girl. What are you waiting for? Gu Ling said impatiently. Yes. Martial nephew, I will do it immediately. After saying that, Meng Long bowed towards Gu Ling. Then, he turned around and walked out of the pavilion. He left to do what Gu Ling had instructed him to do. Not long after, Meng Long returned. You finished it so quickly? Gu Ling was a little surprised. She took a spatial pouch and opened it. There were only a dozen sets of clothes for the little girl, and nothing else. She put the spatial pouch away and left the valley. She went to the heavenly spring of life where Yener was and handed the spatial pouch to her. All right, this time, I'm really going to leave, Yizichen said. Gu Ling crushed a jade talisman in her hand. A ball of light rushed out from her hand and instantly enveloped her. Then, the ball of light and the ball of light dissipated. She disappeared into the void as well. Sister Master. Before Yener could react, Gu Ling had already left. This time, Gu Ling really left the divine land and appeared in the old immortal emperor's mansion. At this time, the old immortal emperor was still walking back and forth in a daze. Senior, my granddaughter. When the old immortal emperor saw Gu Ling, he quickly asked about Yener. Gu Ling didn't hide anything and directly told him about Yener's situation. Hearing that Yener had been cured, the old immortal emperor shed tears. His granddaughter had been tortured the moment she was born and suffered countless hardships. It was already a miracle that she was able to live until now. Now that Yener was fine, he could finally put down a huge stone in his heart. This was Yener's good fortune to have met such an extraordinary person. After suffering comes happiness. Senior, can I see Yener? The old immortal emperor was a little hesitant, but in the end, he still made such a request. After all, Gu Ling was his only relative. His enemy was incomparably powerful. He thought that there was no hope for revenge in this life, but he never thought that there would be a turning point at this time. The fire of hatred buried deep in his heart once again sprang out. Not now, 1 month later. Gu Ling said and directly left the old immortal emperor's mansion and returned to Luo's Xia city. The old immortal emperor was helpless. One should know that the other party was a quasi-saint. He didn't dare to force the other party. He could only respectfully send Gu Ling out of the mansion. At this time, Gu Fei had already adjusted his state of mind and martial body to its best state. Then, he called Yener and Gu Ling, the mother and daughter, and gave them some instructions before leaving Luoxia City. Gu Fei was about to transcend his tribulation. The heavenly sovereign tribulation was very important to Gu Fei. It was related to whether or not he could become the strongest expert in the world in the future. At this time, he had to start paving the way to become a sovereign. By transcending the tribulation in a flawless world, his Tao would gradually transform into a flawless state. Since ancient times, all the sovereigns that had appeared were supreme existences that had comprehended the true meaning of flawless. Such existences had truly transcended the 3 realms and 6 paths. They were invincible in the heavens and earth. They were the strongest existences that had ever existed. Gu Fei walked into the depths of the mountain and sat cross-legged on the peak of a huge mountain. He thought for a long time, then took out a formation platform and activated the teleportation formation. With the help of the formation platform, he directly left the southern mountains. He was traveling across domains. In the eastern domain, in a small hidden world, there was a city. This city was the core of this world. A strong vitality was emitted from the city. There were many residents in the city and most of them were cultivators. In the middle of the city, there was an ancient formation platform. This ancient formation platform had not been used for a very long time and was covered with a thick layer of dust. Today, however, the ancient platform began to tremble. Ancient runes began to appear on the platform, emitting a dazzling divine light. What's going on? The experts in the ancient city were immediately alarmed. 9 figures appeared around the ancient formation platform at almost the same time. The people in the square all hid far away. Among the 9 figures, a masked woman in black emitted the most powerful aura. Her entire body was shrouded in a chilling aura, giving off a surreal feeling. Could it be that there are still experts from our sect who haven't died and are about to return? The mysterious woman's voice rang out. How is that possible? How can there still be experts from our sect outside? A middle-aged man with a black beard said loudly. His voice was like a great bell, spreading far and wide. In the past few years, the Eastern Domain Heavenly Emperor Yuan Gu had chased them to the ends of the earth. One by one, they fell under Yuan Gu's butcher knife. The followers of this sect had already disappeared from the outside world. The small world was the last pure land that they could stay in. Just as everyone was in shock, the ancient formation platform emitted a dazzling divine light. A spatial passage appeared on the ancient formation platform. Everyone stared anxiously at the exit of the spatial passage. Some of them were already holding a magic tool in their hands. If there were any changes, they would immediately take action. Soon, a figure appeared in the spatial passageway and walked out of it. It's you! Chapter 2667. The profound Nether sect was once a great sect in the heavenly realm's eastern land. It was able to contend against the eastern land's heavenly emperor Yuan Gu. However, as the eastern land's heavenly emperor Yuan Gu's strength grew stronger and stronger, the eastern land's heavenly emperor Yuan Gu finally could not help but attack the profound Nether sect. No one could stop heavenly emperor Yuan Gu's determination to unify the eastern earth of the heavenly realm. Hence, after a huge battle, the mysterious dark sect lost miserably. In that battle, almost all the higher-ups of the mysterious dark sect, including the sect master, were wiped out by heavenly emperor Yuan Gu. Only a few people managed to escape. The mysterious dark sect's holy maiden was very lucky. That battle happened very suddenly, and she wasn't in the ancestral land of the mysterious dark sect at the time. Hence, she was able to escape. Back then, heavenly emperor Yuan Gu was extremely powerful. He broke through the ancestral land of the mysterious dark sect and ruthlessly hunted down the remaining members of the mysterious dark sect. The mysterious dark sect originally had 13 secret realms created by generations of sages. They were known as the 13 mysterious underworld realms. However, only one of the 13 realms was left now. It had to be said that heavenly emperor Yuan Gu was really terrifying. In recent years, heavenly emperor Yuan Gu had almost completely eradicated the remaining forces of the mysterious dark sect. Heavenly emperor Yuan Gu had broken through the secret realms of the mysterious dark sect one by one. However, Heavenly Emperor Yuan-gu hadn't been able to find the exact location of the last realm of the 13 mysterious underworld realms. Once Heavenly Emperor Yuan-gu found and broke through the last realm of the mysterious dark sect, the mysterious dark sect would be completely erased from the heavenly realm. Meanwhile, in the last realm of the mysterious dark sect, everyone was nervously staring at the person who walked out of the void passage. "Why is it you?" The mysterious dark holy maiden couldn't help but exclaim when she saw the person. This person was Gu Fei, who had disappeared from the heavenly realm for a long time. "I didn't expect to see an old friend as soon as I arrived. How fortunate!" After Gu Fei walked out of the void passage, the runes on the ancient formation platform dimmed, and the void passage behind him disappeared into the void. "Who is this person?" someone said in a low voice. Everyone was incomparably shocked. It should be known that this ancient platform had not been used for a very long time. Who exactly was this fellow who had suddenly appeared? What was his relationship with the Xianming sect? Many people were curious, but there were even more people who felt uneasy. The celestial ruler of the Eastern Land had countless tricks up his sleeves. In order to eradicate the remaining forces of the Xianming sect, he would do anything. Gu Fei was only acquainted with the Xianming Holy Lady. He had never seen the other members of the Xianming sect before. "Brother Gu, I didn't expect you to still remember me." The Xianming saintess stepped forward. When they heard the Xianming Holy Lady's words, all the high-ranking members of the Xianming sect were surprised. They hadn't expected the Xianming Holy Lady to know this person. Among these people, a handsome middle-aged man stared at Gu Fei with a hint of displeasure on his face. I was just trying it out. I didn't expect it to work." Gu Fei smiled and said. What he said was the truth. He wasn't sure if the spatial coordinates that the Xianming Holy Lady had given him could still be used. Hence, he had tried to activate the transfer array platform. If the small world of the Xianming sect no longer existed, the spatial coordinates that Gu Fei had inserted into the transfer array platform wouldn't have activated the transfer array platform. However, if the transfer array platform could still be activated, it meant that the small world of the Xianming sect still existed. He could then travel across domains and come here. Gu Fei had traveled across domains from the Nanling Mountains. He hadn't expected to see the Xianming Holy Lady as soon as he walked out of the spatial channel. The Xianming Holy Lady hadn't perished while being chased by the primordial celestial ruler. "Come to my place. Let's have a good gathering." When she saw that the person who had come was Gu Fei, the Xianming Holy Lady's eyes sparkled like the stars in the sky. She invited Gu Fei to her cultivation place. "All right." Gu Fei nodded. He also wanted to understand the current situation in the Eastern Land. He wasn't in a hurry to undergo the tribulation, so he suppressed his cultivation. "Wu Chu, what's going on?" A black-bearded Taoist beside the middle-aged man said as he watched the Xianming saintess and Gu Fei walk away. He couldn't help but glance at the middle-aged man. "Humph." The middle-aged man called Wu Chu snorted coldly. His face was so gloomy that it looked like it was about to drip water. He stared at Gu Fei's back with a vicious look in his eyes. He had pursued the Xianming Holy Lady for many years, but the Holy Lady had always been cold to him. She hadn't even invited him to her cultivation place in the small world. However, that fellow had actually been invited to her cultivation place as soon as he arrived. This made Wu Chu very unhappy. He hated and envied Gu Fei at the same time. "That fellow is just a pretty boy. Compared to you, Saint King Wu Chu, he's just like mud under the soles of your feet," the black-bearded Taoist continued. Wu Chu didn't say anything. At this moment, Gu Fei and the Xianming Holy Lady disappeared into a bamboo forest. Behind the bamboo forest was the Xianming Holy Lady's cultivation place, Green Bamboo Lake. Chapter 2668. Gu Fei and the mysterious underworld saintess walked on a small path beside the Green Bamboo Lake. The two of them didn't talk much. Although they were friends, they didn't have that kind of romantic relationship. Furthermore, during this reunion, the mysterious underworld saintess realized that she could no longer see through Gu Fei's cultivation. Gu Fei gave her a feeling that he was unreachable. "Did you come to the Eastern Territory this time to settle the score with that old fellow Yuan Gu?" The mysterious underworld saintess walked into a pavilion beside the lake while Gu Fei followed her. She knew very well that Gu Fei definitely wasn't there to look for her. "Yes." Gu Fei nodded without saying much. The mysterious underworld saintess was well aware of the various grievances he had with the primordial heavenly Tharch. The primordial heavenly Thearcha's only son, the Purple Emperor, had died at his hands. The primordial heavenly Tharch had also tried to kill Gu Fei. Although the mysterious underworld saintess knew that Gu Fei wasn't there to look for her and was already mentally prepared, she still felt a little disappointed when she saw Gu Fei nod. "Count me in. I have wanted to beat up that old fellow Yuan Gu for a long time," the mysterious underworld saintess said fiercely. The enmity between her and the primordial heavenly Tharch couldn't be resolved. It would only end when one side was completely destroyed by the other. He. Gu Fei smiled. He could see through the mysterious underworld saintess' cultivation at a glance. The mysterious underworld saintess hadn't been in vain all these years. She had actually become a saint. However, the primordial heavenly Tharch was a sacred venerate existence. Even 10 or 100 mysterious underworld saintesses wouldn't be a match for the primordial heavenly Tharch. "I know that given my current cultivation, I wouldn't even be able to touch that old fellow's clothes before I would be killed. I'm not willing to accept this." The mysterious underworld saintess sighed. "As long as you have an invincible heart, you will definitely become an invincible powerhouse." Gu Fei looked at the mysterious underworld saintess and said seriously. The mysterious underworld saintess looked at Gu Fei. When her eyes met Gu Fei's, she couldn't help but feel moved. However, at that moment, a green-clothed female follower passed through the bamboo forest and arrived at the pavilion by the lake. She bowed to the Xianming saintess. "Your Highness, the Great Elder requests your presence," the green-clothed female follower said. "What?" The Xianming saintess was a little surprised when she heard that. Why was Wu Chu looking for her now? She knew that Wu Chu was interested in her, but it was a pity that Wu Chu wasn't her type. "Let me take a look. You can walk around here first. The scenery here is pretty good." The mysterious underworld saintess pondered for a moment before speaking to Gu Fei. "Yes." Gu Fei nodded and turned to look at the lake. The Xianming saintess walked out of the pavilion and followed the green-robed disciple. They left Green Bamboo Lake and headed for Xianming City. On the other hand, Gu Fei was quite relaxed. The scenery of Green Bamboo Lake was pretty good. Actually, what surprised him the most was that there was an earth vein under Green Bamboo Lake. The concentration of the spirit energy there was higher than anywhere else in this small realm. This small realm was pretty good. The earth vein had already condensed, and it was ready to transform into a perfect great realm. Gu Fei didn't know what had happened in the Xianming sect. The Xianming saintess hadn't returned for a long time, so he could only wander around Green Bamboo Lake. Meanwhile, the Great Elder was confronting the saintess in the Xianming City Lord residence. "Wu Chu, you're too much." The Xianming saintess pointed at Great Elder Wu Chu and shouted. "Your Highness, mind your attitude," the black-bearded Taoist said coldly. "Humph. You should mind your attitude." The Xianming saintess glanced at the black-bearded Taoist and said disdainfully. This fellow was simply Wu Chu's follower. "You." The black-bearded Taoist's expression became unfriendly. "What's so good about that kid? Why do you like that gigolo?" The Great Elder Wu Chu said unwillingly. "Who are you calling a gigolo?" The Xianming saintess suddenly smiled playfully. Wu Chu seemed to be jealous. It was a good opportunity for Gu Fei to put him down a notch. Hence, the Xianming saintess didn't mention Gu Fei's background. "Alright, stop quarreling." "What a scandal!" The white-haired old man tried to persuade them. "Get lost." The black-bearded Taoist didn't give the old man any face, which made the old man furious. This damned fellow actually told him to get lost. He was too despicable. "Wu Chu, our Xianming sect is about to be annihilated, yet you still have the mood to think about these things. It seems like the heavens really want our Xianming sect to be annihilated. The Xianming Saintess said worriedly. The Saintess is right. We were defeated by our own people, not by that old Yuangu. The old man said. If you agree, you will be the new sect master of the Xianming sect, Wu Chu said, unwilling to give up. As the great elder of the Xianming sect, he could support the Xianming Saintess to become the new sect master of the Xianming sect. Don't even think about it. Just give up, the Xianming Saintess said ruthlessly. The Xianming Saintess said ruthlessly. She didn't want to give the other party any hope. Once she gave the other party hope, this guy would never stop. You. Very good. Wu Chu's gaze gradually turned cold as he looked at the Xianming Saintess. This woman could only be his. If he couldn't have her, he definitely wouldn't let her off easily. It was normal for love to turn into hatred. Of course I'm very good. I don't need you to tell me that. The Xianming Saintess turned around disdainfully and walked towards the door of the main hall. She wanted to leave this place. However, Wu Chu waved his hand and the entire city lord residence was instantly sealed. Even if the Xianming Saintess wanted to rush out, it wouldn't be an easy task. Wu Chu was a sage king. His cultivation was one realm higher than the Xianming Saintess. If he used force, even the Xianming Saintess wouldn't be able to resist. However, this fellow thought highly of himself and didn't want to use force. However, it was different now. When Gu Fei appeared, Wu Chu felt that the relationship between Gu Fei and the Xianming Saintess wasn't shallow. Wu Chu instinctively felt that his rival in love had appeared. Hence, he had already regarded Gu Fei as his rival. Hence, he naturally showed hostility towards Gu Fei. Trying to leave? Wu Chu attacked immediately. Wu Chu, what are you trying to do? The Xianming Saintess didn't expect that Wu Chu would attack her. This made her shocked and angry. Wu Chu, you're too much. Even the old man couldn't stand it anymore. Wu Chu was really lawless. He actually dared to trap the Saintess in the main hall. Humph! Shut up! Wu Chu pointed at the old man and shouted. You! Chapter 2669. The great elder of the Xianming sect suddenly attacked and sealed the main hall of the city lord's mansion. This shocked everyone in the main hall, including the black-bearded Taoist. Is this guy really willing to do anything just to get the Saintess? While the black-bearded Taoist was shocked, he couldn't help but be cautious. If the great elder and the Saintess fought, he would be implicated. Wu Chu, do you really want to betray the sect? The white-haired old man pointed at Wu Chu and said loudly. Humph, betray the sect? Elder Yen, you are exaggerating. Wu Chu slowly stood up from his seat and said nonchalantly. The old man was called Yen Kuan, and he was one of the 3 remaining great elders of the Xianming sect. Wu Chu was originally a small elder of the Xianming sect, but he wasn't as qualified as Elder Yen Kuan. However, Wu Chu was really lucky. When the chaotic family clan appeared, he had a fortuitous encounter in the chaotic world and his cultivation had improved greatly. After coming out of the chaotic family clan, he appeared in the eastern land with a domineering attitude. He became the great elder of the Xianming sect, who was second only to one, and above all. Ever since he had become the great elder of the Xianming sect, Wu Chu's desire for power had reached the point of obsession. The desire in his heart had expanded infinitely. He wanted to rule over everything, including the Xianming sect. You imprisoned the Saintess. Isn't that betraying the sect? Yan Kun said angrily. The Saintess had a high status in the Xianming sect. She could even compete with the Great Elder. She was the symbol of purity and flawlessness in the Xianming sect. Ha ha, Elder Yan, you must be joking. I just want the Saintess to stay in the main hall for a while. After I settle some matters, the Saintess can naturally leave this place. Wu Chu said with a smile. His face had a hint of fierceness, and his eyes were filled with malice. Humph, you want to find trouble with that person? I think you should give up on this idea as soon as possible. The Xianming saintess sneered as she looked at Wu Chu with disdain in her eyes. You! The saintess' gaze pierced Wu Chu deeply. He couldn't accept being looked down upon by the woman he liked. The muscles on his face twitched uncontrollably. Kill! A deep roar came from Wu Chu's throat. In the next moment, his figure instantly disappeared into the void. He had actually escaped. Great Elder, this! The black-bearded Taoist seemed to have thought of something and felt a little uneasy. He was a black tiger that had attained the Tao and cultivated into a human. He should have walked the path of an overlord, but this black tiger Taoist was an extremely cautious person. Xianming saintess was too calm. Could it be that this person was stronger than Great Elder Wu Chu? The black-bearded Taoist black tiger thought of something. Wu Chu is too much, Yan Kun said angrily. Humph, he is courting death. The Xianming saintess said indifferently. What? Black Tiger Taoist was shocked when he heard this. He looked at the Xianming holy lady in disbelief. It seemed like the situation was more serious than he had imagined. At this moment, the void in front of the pavilion by the green bamboo lake suddenly distorted. A figure seemed to pass through a layer of ripples and directly walked out of the void. Gu Fei, who was in the pavilion, turned around and saw a jade-like middle-aged man staring at him with a murderous look. His eyes were as vicious as a poisonous snake. The saintess is mine. Who do you think you are? How dare you snatch my woman? Wu Chu stared at Gu Fei in the pavilion and said fiercely. A cold murderous aura spread from his body. He wanted to kill Gu Fei. In the world of cultivation, the weak were prey to the strong. To the strong, the weak were like ants. If they were killed, then so be it. In Wu Chu's eyes, he was naturally the strong. When Gu Fei heard Wu Chu's words, he scratched his head. He did not know what this guy was talking about. It was really strange. Come out and die. Wu Chu stood in the air and an incomparably strong aura of a sage erupted from his body. The void around him immediately shook. The aura of a sage spread throughout the small world very quickly. All the living creatures in the small world were trembling in fear. Sage ruler. Gu Fei walked out from the pavilion. His body did not emit any aura and he looked like an ordinary person. However, under the pressure of a sage ruler, his expression did not change. You! At this moment, Wu Chu felt that something was wrong. He was not stupid. Otherwise, he would not have cultivated to the sage ruler realm and become the great elder of the Xianming sect. You said that I snatched your woman? Gu Fei tilted his head and looked at Wu Chu. You deserve to die. Wu Chu waved his hand and a dazzling sword light immediately rushed out from his hand and slashed towards Gu Fei. Wherever the sword light passed, a pitch-black crack appeared in the void. The stability of the small world of the Xianming sect was naturally not as stable as the heaven realm. Even a sage ruler could easily tear the void. However, when the extremely sharp sword light was 3 feet away from Gu Fei, it suddenly disappeared without a trace. It was as if it had never appeared. What? Seeing this scene, Wu Chu's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. His opponent was stronger and more terrifying than he had imagined. Who was this person? At this moment, Wu Chu could not help but be moved. You want to kill me? Gu Fei smiled and said to Wu Chu. Yes, so what? Wu Chu gritted his teeth and said. He was shocked and angry. His opponent was not as weak as he had imagined. However, he could not get off the tiger now. You don't even know who I am and you want to kill me. The smile on Gu Fei's face disappeared. This person's killing intent was very strong. If it was an ordinary sage, he would probably be in trouble. Isn't it normal for a dragon to squash an ant to death? Wu Chu said disapprovingly. In your eyes, you're the giant dragon, and I'm the ant in your mouth. Gu Fei said indifferently. This person was too arrogant. It seemed that this person could not be left alive. A person who kills the innocent is not worthy of sympathy. Of course, Wu Chu said proudly. Ha ha! Gu Fei laughed. What are you laughing at? Wu Chu said coldly as he stared at Gu Fei with a venomous gaze, like a venomous snake staring at its prey, ready to pounce on Gu Fei at any time. I am laughing at you for being a pig. Gu Fei pointed at Wu Chu and said. What? Wu Chu was infuriated. Kill. Without any hesitation, Wu Chu made his move. As he waved his hands, an incomparably powerful force surged out from his hands. 9 Dao patterns intertwined and turned into a pitch-black vortex, intending to devour Gu Fei. Courting death. You really are a pig. Gu Fei put away his smile and punched out. The primal chaos fist pierced through the black vortex that was trying to devour Wu Chu. In an instant, it grew infinitely larger in Wu Chu's eyes. Bang! Wu Chu only felt his vision go black as his right eye took a heavy punch. Suddenly, the world spun around him, and he almost fell to the ground. His entire eye socket was bruised black. You didn't check your opponent's background before attacking. If you aren't a pig, what are you? Gu Fei said as he took a step forward, closing in on Wu Chu and punched out with lightning speed. Bang! Wu Chu's left eye was hit. This time, he was sent flying and smashed into the ground. His left eye was also hit by Gu Fei, turning into a panda eye. I am really a pig. Wu Chu was going crazy. His opponent was too strong. He had kicked an iron board this time. If Lin Fan wanted to kill him, it would be as easy as flipping his palm. Who is the dragon and who is the ant? Now it's obvious. Gu Fei walked up and kicked Wu Chu's dantian, instantly crippling his cultivation. You! Wu Chu fell to the ground like a pile of mud. He was dumbfounded. His cultivation was crippled. He couldn't accept this. Humph, it's good enough that I didn't take your life, Gu Fei said. He didn't care about Wu Chu anymore and left Green Bamboo Lake. He came to the sky above Xianming City and released his divine will. In an instant, the situation of the entire Xianming City appeared in his mind. Even the most minute details were no exception. Sure enough, the City Lord's mansion of Mystic Dark City was sealed by a force. It was the doing of the fellow whose cultivation he had just crippled. Gu Fei flew down from the sky and arrived above the mayor's mansion. To him, breaking a Sage King level seal was as easy as flipping his hand. Buzz! The void shook, and a giant hand of chaos appeared in the sky above the City Lord's office. Then, it smashed downwards and destroyed the 9 Dao patterns that were sealing the City Lord's office in the void. Swoosh! As soon as the seal of the mayor's mansion was broken by Gu Fei, a figure dashed out of the mayor's mansion. It was the Xianming Saintess. Haha, just as I expected. The Xianming Saintess laughed when she saw Gu Fei. Wu Chu was really unlucky. However, the Xianming Saintess never expected that Gu Fei would cripple Wu Chu's cultivation and turn him from a Sage King to an ordinary person. Then, Black Tiger Taoist and Elder Yan Kun dashed out of the mayor's mansion. Where is Wu Chu? Yan Kun had always disliked Wu Chu. He wanted an explanation from Wu Chu. How dare he trap him and the Saintess in the mayor's mansion? That was outrageous. At this moment, Black Tiger Taoist took a deep look at Gu Fei and flew towards Green Bamboo Lake. Soon, Black Tiger Taoist returned. He brought back a cripple. This cripple was their Grand Elder, Wu Chu. You! Chapter 2670. The news that the great elder of the Xianming sect had been crippled caused an uproar in Xianming City. All the Xianming sect disciples in the city were in disbelief. The high and mighty great elder, the great elder whom they revered as a god, had not only been defeated by someone, but also had his cultivation crippled. All the Xianming sect disciples felt as though their sky had collapsed. All these years, the great elder was their belief. As long as the great elder and the saintess were around, the Xianming sect would not disappear. However, the great elder, one of the 2 pillars of the Xianming sect, had been crippled. All the Xianming sect disciples in Xianming City could not accept this fact. Soon, there were signs of chaos in Xianming City. However, unexpectedly, the saintess suppressed the chaos that was about to erupt. She even forbade the Xianming sect disciples from finding trouble with Gu Fei. Saintess, how could this happen? That person crippled the great elder. We must avenge him. That's right. We must avenge the Great Elder. Indignant and angry roars could be heard in Xianming City. Wu Chu reaped what he sowed. He imprisoned the saintess with the intention of betraying the sect. We're already letting him off easy by not killing him. Very soon, different voices could be heard in Xianming City. This was definitely an explosive one. How could Great Elder Wu Chu have imprisoned the saintess? With Elder Yan Kuan as a witness, how could it be fake? Someone said. What? All the Xianming sect disciples in Xianming City were stunned. It should be known that Yan Kuan was one of the 3 remaining elders of the Xianming sect. Since he had come out to testify, it seemed like this matter was not groundless. In the end, Elder Yan Kuan stood out and accused Wu Chu of imprisoning the saintess with the intention of betraying the sect. This caused an uproar among the Xianming sect disciples. How could the Great Elder? After the initial shock, countless Xianming sect disciples were furious. It should be known that the saintess was the symbol of purity in the eyes of countless Xianming sect disciples. She could not be desecrated. Thus, Gu Fei turned from an evil person who crippled the Great Elder to a great hero who saved the saintess from the Great Elder's demonic claws. Of course, the protagonist of this incident, Gu Fei, did not care about the change in his identity. He also did not care about how the people from the Xianming sect viewed him. Meanwhile, the Xianming saintess was sitting on a throne in the city lord mansion. Gu Fei sat lazily on the lower seat. Saintess, you're going to be the sect leader. Yan Kuan and Black Tiger Taoist were extremely shocked by the mysterious underworld saintess decision. There had never been a saintess who had become the sect master in the mysterious underworld sect. Of course, there was no written rule in the mysterious dark sect that the sect's saintess could not be the sect leader. Isn't he just the sect leader of the Xianming sect? Little girl, don't be too serious, Gu Fei said lazily. When Yan Kuan and the Black Tiger Taoist heard Gu Fei's words, black lines appeared on their heads. However, when they thought about how Wu Chu was crippled by this person, they did not dare to say anything. However, calling the saintess a little girl was too much. Brother Gu, you promised me that you would help me, you know? The mysterious underworld saintess was not the least bit displeased. There was no doubt that Gu Fei was powerful. Most importantly, he also had a feud with the Eastern Land's celestial darch, Yuan Gu. This was very important. All right, since you want to be the sect leader, then be it, Gu Fei said indifferently. All right, I hope no one objects to me being the sect leader. The mysterious underworld saintess looked at Black Tiger Taoist and Yan Kuan as she spoke. The Black Tiger Taoist and Yan Kuan naturally had nothing to say. How would they dare to say anything in the presence of this killing god? They had seen Wu Chu's fate with their own eyes. Wu Chu was a sage monarch who was much more powerful than them. If he had been crippled by Gu Fei, what were they? Very well, then announce it to the sect members, the mysterious underworld saintess said. Yes, saintess, sect leader. Yan Kuan turned around helplessly and walked out. Very soon, the mysterious underworld city was in an uproar again. The saintess had actually become the sect leader. This was definitely something that no one had expected. In the history of the mysterious underworld sect, there had never been a saintess who had become the sect leader. However, there was also no rule that a saintess couldn't become the sect leader. Most of the sect members felt that there was nothing wrong with the saintess becoming the sect leader. At least there would be someone to lead everyone. At the moment, only Gu Fei and the mysterious underworld saintess were left in the city lord palace. This is all the mysterious underworld sect has, Gu Fei said lazily. Yes, it's already good enough that it wasn't destroyed by that old man Yuan Gu. The mysterious underworld saintess sighed. This was the last realm of the 13 mysterious underworld realms. If this realm was destroyed by Yuan Gu, then the mysterious underworld sect would really be finished. He. I really don't care about the chips in your hands, Gu Fei said. This realm of the mysterious underworld sect was not as good as his own inner realm. Furthermore, the only experts in this realm were the mysterious underworld saintess, the Black Tiger Taoist, and Elder Yan Kuan. The mysterious underworld sect only had 3 saints. However, Gu Fei alone was more powerful than the entire mysterious underworld sect. However, do you understand the current Eastern Territory? The mysterious underworld saintess asked. I don't, Gu Fei said. Therefore, you still have to rely on me. The mysterious underworld sect is still useful to you. The mysterious underworld saintess was very straightforward. If Gu Fei wasn't useful, he definitely wouldn't have stayed in the mysterious underworld sect. He would have left long ago. He really didn't understand the current Eastern Territory. If he wanted to deal with the Eastern Territory celestial ruler, he would really have to rely on the mysterious underworld sect to understand the situation there. Very well. How's the investigation going? Gu Fei couldn't help but nod. This mysterious underworld saintess was really smart. Could she see through his thoughts? She was really good at reading people's expressions. The mysterious underworld saintess then told him everything she knew. The ancient celestial ruler had countless clones, so no one knew when he would appear in his true body. Even the people closest to him didn't know. It was almost impossible to destroy the ancient celestial ruler's true body. The ancient celestial ruler was probably the most mysterious emperor in the heavenly realm. Alright, then get ready. I want to wreak havoc in Celestial City. After hearing this, Gu Fei thought for a moment and said this. What? The mysterious underworld saintess' eyes lit up when she heard this. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to deal a heavy blow to the ancient celestial ruler's power. When? The mysterious underworld saintess asked excitedly. She couldn't maintain her composure. Even in her dreams, she wanted to counterattack and deal a heavy blow to the ancient celestial ruler. The mysterious underworld sect had been too sullen all these years. Whenever you say so, Gu Fei said indifferently. All right. The mysterious underworld saintess naturally understood the meaning behind Gu Fei's words. Thus, she immediately mobilized all the power of the mysterious underworld sect. A starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Although the mysterious underworld sect had declined to this extent, it still had a lot of power in the Eastern Territory. Very soon, news about the ancient celestial ruler of the Eastern Territory was transmitted to the mysterious underworld sect. Half a month passed. Gu Fei had been cultivating by the green bamboo lake all this time. No one dared to disturb him, so the green bamboo lake had become a forbidden area in the mysterious underworld sect. Given Gu Fei's current state, he could trigger a sacred venerate heavenly tribulation at any time. However, he felt that he couldn't waste this tribulation. Wasn't the ancient celestial ruler very powerful? Then I shall undergo my tribulation in your lair. Let's see what you can do to me then. Gu Fei was waiting for news from the mysterious underworld saintess. He believed that she would tell him when the most suitable time to undergo his tribulation was. The days were very peaceful. One day, Gu Fei got a fishing rod from somewhere and sat on a big rock by the lake. He wore a bamboo hat and fished. The lake water was so clear that the bottom could be seen. Fishes swam around but didn't take the bait. However, Gu Fei wasn't fishing for the sake of fishing. Suddenly, a figure appeared silently behind Gu Fei. It was a masked woman in black. She was the mysterious underworld saintess. You still have the leisure to fish here? The mysterious underworld saintess said. It's time. Gu Fei didn't stand up. He just sat there and fished. That's right. The birds are all returning to their nests. The mysterious underworld saintess sounded a little nervous. After all, this wasn't a small matter. It would be great if she could seriously injure the ancient celestial ruler. She wanted to let the ancient celestial ruler know that the mysterious underworld sect wasn't to be trifled with. Very well, it's time to go out and take a walk. Gu Fei put away his fishing rod and removed the bamboo hat on his head. He carefully placed the fishing rod and the bamboo hat beside him before standing up. Then, Gu Fei left the small world of the mysterious underworld sect. Celestial City was very lively at this time. All the immortal generals had returned. Tomorrow was a big day, so all the immortal generals who were stationed outside had returned to Celestial City. Tomorrow was the birthday of the ancient celestial ruler. Every year, Celestial City would be packed with people at this time. Not only would the powerhouses under the ancient celestial ruler come, but even the factions that had good relations with the ancient celestial ruler would also send envoys to congratulate him. Humph, tomorrow is the birthday of my son, Ancient Yuan. This couldn't be any better. Gu Fei appeared on top of a stone mountain only 1,000 miles away from Celestial City. He could conceal his aura, so no one could sense his presence. He had heard the news. He could still wait for one day. He had already waited for half a month, so one more day wouldn't make a difference. Gu Fei found a place to sit down and quietly waited for the arrival of the next day. His mind was very calm, without any sadness or joy. His entire being was in an ethereal state. A day passed in the blink of an eye for cultivators. The sun rose from the east, and the sunlight shone on the earth. Gu Fei didn't move from his position on the stone mountain. Noon arrived, but Gu Fei still didn't plan to make a move. Chapter 2671. As night fell, Celestial City was bustling with noise and excitement. Today was the birthday of the ancient Heavenly Dharch, so all the experts who were on good terms with the ancient Heavenly Dharch had come to congratulate him. Celestial City was overflowing with people, and the atmosphere was festive. The truly important figures were all gathered in the Celestial Palace. The ancient Heavenly Dharch was sitting on his throne in the main hall of the palace, chatting happily with the guests. The Flame Emperor had personally come, and even the Barbarian Emperor had sent a congratulatory gift. Just as the host and guests were enjoying themselves, a faint rumble of thunder came from the sky. Very quickly, the big shots in the Celestial Palace felt that something was wrong. How is this possible? The Flame Emperor had a strange expression on his face. How could something like this happen in this place at this time? Could it be that someone was actually transcending their tribulation here? At this time, the ancient Heavenly Thearcha's expression turned gloomy. Tong Shou, go out and see what's going on, the primordial Heavenly Emperor said to a young cultivator in silver armor who was waiting on him. Yes. The young warrior named Tong Shou immediately accepted the order and was about to go out. However, at this time, a dazzling bolt of lightning struck down from the sky, heading straight for the Celestial Palace. This bolt of lightning was as large as a mountain, bringing with it a terrifying aura of destruction. Buzz! The Heaven Sovereign Palace let out a rumbling sound. Then, a ball of immortal light rushed out from the Heaven Sovereign Palace and instantly enveloped the entire Heaven Sovereign Palace. Boom! The bolt of lightning as large as a mountain struck the layer of immortal light that enveloped the Celestial Palace. Electric light circulated as immortal runes appeared on the layer of immortal light. The bolt of lightning was blocked by the immortal light. What's going on? What's going on? Everyone in the Celestial Palace was shocked to the extreme. Some of the big shots had gloomy expressions. This was the power of the heavenly tribulation. Someone was attracting the heavenly tribulation. Someone actually came here to transcend their tribulation? Is he courting death? Someone said in horror. One should know that this was the lair of the ancient Heavenly Dharch. Moreover, today was the birthday of the ancient Heavenly Dharch. Someone actually jumped out at this time to cause trouble. This was simply a slap to the ancient Heavenly Thearcha's face. Swish! Just as the immortal light blocked the lightning, a silhouette appeared in the sky above Heaven's sovereign palace. This was a young general clad in silver immortal armor. This young warrior was the Tongzhou battle general who had been waiting beside the ancient Yuan Celestial Dharch. Tong Shou was one of the two most capable generals under the ancient Celestial Dharch. He had once fought for the ancient Celestial Dharch and conquered vast territories. Battle General Tong Shou and Divine Slaughter Shurchi had been viewed as the primordial Celestial Emperor's left and right arms. However, after Shurchi had fallen while attacking the Forbidden Region, Battle General Tong Shou had become the primordial Celestial Emperor's only trusted aide. Heavenly tribulation? Tong Shou raised his head and gazed into the depths of the sky. Runes interweaved in his eyes as an immensely powerful immortal aura radiated from his body. Rumble! Tribulation clouds were gathering, blocking the stars in the sky. Dazzling bolts of lightning constantly appeared, and a destructive aura that made the hearts of all living beings in the world palpitate descended from the sky. This is. Tong Shou's expression changed. This wasn't an ordinary heavenly tribulation. The might of the world descending from the sky made his heart palpitate. It was as if he was being stared at by a terrifying ancient heavenly beast. Let's begin! At this time, Gu Fei, who was sitting cross-legged in the sky above Celestial City, completely released his aura. Bolts of primal chaos lightning appeared around his body. Boom! The explosion of the heaven realm came without any warning. A sea of lightning instantly appeared around Gu Fei's body. Countless lightning bolts interweaved with each other, and the terrifying destructive power was vast and mighty. The tribulation lightning directly broke through the void and bombarded from the primal chaos. This was the tribulation lightning of primal chaos, capable of destroying all living things in the world and even killing saints. Everyone in Celestial City and Celestial Palace was stunned. The tribulation lightning of primal chaos linked together and enveloped Celestial City and Celestial Palace in the sky. The Celestial City and the Celestial Palace were protected by the immortal Tao formation. Even the primordial chaos tribulation lightning wouldn't be able to break the immortal Tao formation in a short time. One must know that the immortal Tao formation in the Celestial City and the Celestial Palace was personally arranged by the primordial Heavenly Emperor. The primordial Heavenly Emperor was a heavenly sovereign level existence, and Gu Fei wasn't a heavenly sovereign yet. Tribulation lightning of primal chaos, this. All the saints in Celestial City were dumbstruck. They felt very uneasy as they looked at the rampaging primal chaos lightning outside the city. One should know that this tribulation lightning could even turn saints into dregs. Good heavens, he actually attracted this level of tribulation lightning in an instant. High up in the sky, in the Celestial Palace that was also submerged by the tribulation lightning, a group of experts couldn't help but exclaim in admiration. The person undergoing the tribulation was very extraordinary. One should know that not everyone could attract the tribulation lightning of primal chaos during their tribulation. At this time, Tong Shou encountered quite a bit of trouble. He was besieged by the tribulation lightning outside the Celestial Palace. His silver immortal armor had been torn apart by the tribulation lightning on his body. He held the immortal sword in his hand, and 9 immortal runes rushed out from his body, blocking the tribulation lightning around him. Preposterous! How dare you come here to cause trouble? I want to see what kind of god you are! Tong Shou directly swooped down from the sky, breaking through the layers of tribulation lightning, and directly rushed towards the culprit who attracted the tribulation lightning. Break for me! Tong Shou directly slashed down with his sword. A resplendent sword light rushed out from the immortal sword in his hand, broke through the tribulation lightning, and directly fell towards Gu Fei's head. Heavenly Sovereign? Gu Fei raised his head and looked up, then stretched out his right hand and directly slapped upwards. Bang! The slashing sword light instantly collapsed under the attack of Gu Fei's palm. Rumble! Immediately after, a huge primordial hand appeared in the endless tribulation lightning, directly grabbing towards Tong Shou. Gu Fei drew the power of the tribulation for his own use, and actually grabbed Tong Shou in the huge primordial hand. Tribulation lightning of primordial chaos lingered on the huge hand. Roar! Tong Shou roared angrily. He was shocked and angry at the same time. He never thought that the other party would be so strong and capture him in one move. Could it be that the other party was a great sage? Thief, how dare you! A loud shout came from the Celestial Palace, and a huge purple hand grabbed down from the Celestial Palace. The huge hand covered the sky and earth, and even the tribulation lightning of primordial chaos collapsed under the huge hand. Ha ha! Yuan Gu, I will kill the person that you want to save, Gu Fei said while laughing. Then, he clenched his big hand and directly squeezed Tong Shou into a cloud of blood mist, directly destroying his body and soul. You deserve to die! Chapter 2672. The primordial celestial arch made his move. Immortal energy filled every inch of the void. The purple hand was like the hand of the heavens as it directly grabbed down from the sky. The purple hand broke through the tribulation lightning and grabbed Gu Fei. The primordial celestial darch wanted to give Gu Fei a taste of his own medicine. He wanted to kill Gu Fei in one move. Rumble! At that moment, an even more powerful tribulation lightning descended from the sky. It was a type of purple lightning with a spherical thunderfire that blasted towards Gu Fei. The purple thunderfire directly broke through the primordial celestial Thearka's purple hand and exploded it. The immortal Tao runes were scattered in the void by the purple thunderfire. This is... Everyone was in disbelief. No one had expected a purple thunderball to descend from the sky. This type of tribulation lightning was extremely rare and had not appeared even once in tens of thousands of years. The ninth heaven lightning? At that moment, even the primordial celestial Thearka's expression became extremely solemn. The muscles on his face twitched involuntarily. Interesting, this kid can actually attract the ninth heaven lightning. The Fire Emperor glanced at the primordial celestial darch and said, "It seems like this guy is undergoing the heavenly sovereign tribulation." An old man said, "This guy actually dared to come here to undergo tribulation." Many people looked at the primordial celestial darch. They had already guessed that the guy who was undergoing tribulation definitely had a great feud with the primordial celestial darch. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done this to the primordial celestial darch. Moreover, the fact that this guy was undergoing tribulation here was a matter of life and death for everyone. One should know that when a cultivator underwent tribulation, the heavens would send down an unfathomable tribulation force. This kind of tribulation force was mysterious and unfathomable. It could ignite the tribulation fire of other cultivators and cause their tribulation to descend. For these cultivators who were not prepared to undergo tribulation, igniting the tribulation fire was absolutely courting death. At that moment, something terrible happened in Celestial City. Many cultivators were emitting the light of tribulation fire. This was a sign that the tribulation was about to descend. "I don't want to die!" A cultivator shone as he soared into the sky from Celestial City. However, a bolt of tribulation lightning ignored the obstruction of the Celestial City's immortal light and directly descended on that cultivator's body. The cultivator was immediately blasted into pieces, his body and soul extinguished. What? Countless cultivators in the city were dumbfounded when they saw this. "Why is my body glowing?" One of the cultivators cried out in fear. However, before the cultivator could react, a bolt of tribulation lightning descended from the sky and blasted the cultivator into a mist of blood. "What's going on? Why did the tribulation lightning fall on him?" Many cultivators beside the cultivator who was struck to death by the tribulation lightning had witnessed this scene up close, and all of them were scared out of their wits. Could this be the power of tribulation guide?" An older cultivator exclaimed in horror, his voice trembling. Inside Celestial City, all the cultivators were incomparably terrified. There were people whose bodies were glowing one after another, igniting the tribulation fire. One after another, tribulation lightning descended from the sky and killed all the cultivators who ignited the tribulation fire. For cultivators, the heavenly tribulation was a tribulation with a slim chance of survival. Even a well-prepared cultivator would most likely die when the heavenly tribulation descended. In the Celestial City, panic was spreading. In every corner of the Celestial City, there were cultivators who were directly killed by the tribulation lightning. Preposterous! High up in the sky, the primordial heavenly darch sensed what was happening in the Celestial City, and couldn't help but be furious. This Gu Fei was truly too hateful. The power of tribulation guide filled every inch of the void. As long as a cultivator's cultivation had reached a bottleneck, they would ignite the tribulation fire and attract the heavenly tribulation. Even in the Celestial Darch Palace, there were powerhouses who had ignited the tribulation fire and attracted the terrifying heavenly tribulation. Even sages were in imminent danger. However, sages were different from ordinary cultivators. They could seal their cultivation, so even the power of tribulation guide would find it difficult to ignite their tribulation fire. Rumble! Thunder from the ninth heaven descended continuously from the sky. The layer of immortal light formed by the immortal formation protecting the celestial arch palace shook violently, showing signs of being torn apart by the thunder. The same was true for Celestial City on the ground. The immortal light that enveloped the entire city became unstable under the bombardment of the thunder. The power of this thunder was infinitely close to the power of a heavenly sovereign. Gu Fei sat cross-legged in the void and allowed the thunder to strike his body. He remained motionless as he borrowed the power of the tribulation to temper his body. Only Gu Fei would do such a crazy thing. The purple lightning wandered around his body and even entered his body, tempering his flesh and bones. The lightning contained natural Tao runes. This was a part of the heavenly realm's flawless law of the heaven and earth. The thunder didn't only bring about destruction. Gu Fei was comprehending and using the laws of the heavenly realm to complete his own Tao laws. In the depths of the sky, muffled thunderclaps resounded. The power of the thunder gradually weakened and disappeared after half an hour. At this time, panic was still spreading in the celestial city. No one knew how many cultivators in the city had their tribulation fire ignited and died under the tribulation lightning. In the heavenly emperor palace, there were also many experts who had their tribulation fires ignited by the tribulation force. Some were very unlucky and died directly under the heavenly tribulation, but there were some who were incomparably strong and actually survived the heavenly tribulation, becoming even more powerful. "I'm going to kill that guy!" the primordial celestial emperor roared. He took a step out of the celestial emperor palace and attacked Gu Fei, who was sitting cross-legged in the void. The purple hand appeared again. The power of the immortal path surged violently. Runes appeared on the palm of the primordial celestial emperor, emitting an immortal light. Sky-covering palm! Gu Fei, who was sitting cross-legged in the void, suddenly opened his eyes and slammed his palm towards the primordial celestial emperor. His palm enveloped the entire world. Boom! With a loud sound, Gu Fei's sky-covering palm collided with the primordial celestial emperor's immortal path palm. The two supreme forces collided and cancelled each other out. A destructive storm spread out between the two. A series of pitch-black spatial cracks appeared in the void. "You!" The primordial celestial emperor's expression changed. His opponent hadn't passed the tribulation and wasn't a heavenly sovereign yet, but he could already contend against him. "You what? Do you want me to drag you into the tribulation?" Gu Fei smiled and stood up from the void. At this time, his entire body was glowing. This was a sign that the tribulation was about to descend. Chapter 2673. Gu Fei challenging the Yuan ancient celestial emperor caused everyone to be incomparably shocked, especially the Flame Emperor. What was the origin of this youth? He actually dared to challenge the Yuan ancient celestial emperor. One must know that the current Yuan ancient was the overlord of the Eastern Earth. The entire Eastern territory was originally divided into 3 parts. However, after the ancient Yuan heavenly emperor destroyed the mysterious dark sect, he became the true overlord of the Eastern territory of the Heaven Realm. The Golden-Eyed Divinate clan had a small population. In the Eastern territory, the Golden-Eyed Divinate clan did not have much power and would never compete with the ancient Yuan heavenly emperor. It was not an exaggeration to say that the ancient Yuan heavenly emperor was the overlord of the Eastern territory of the Heaven Realm. This was also the reason why the Flame Emperor was on good terms with the ancient Yuan heavenly emperor. At the same time, they also had a common enemy, the Southern Mountains God Emperor. The Southern Mountains God Emperor and the ancient Yuan heavenly emperor had always been at odds. The Southern Mountains God Emperor and the Flame Emperor were sworn enemies. It should be known that the Southern Mountains God Emperor was originally the ruler of the Southern Mountains. However, after the Flame Emperor was born, he snatched half of the Southern Mountains from the Southern Mountains. It could be said that the grudge between the Southern Mountains God Emperor and the ancient Yuan heavenly emperor had reached an irreconcilable point. The Flame Emperor did not know Gu Fei. The Flame Emperor was born after Gu Fei left the Heaven Realm. He did not know about the grudge between Gu Fei and the ancient Yuan heavenly emperor. Rumble! At this moment, the world shook. From time to time, tribulation lightning would descend on the heavenly Emperor Palace. Some people's bodies glowed and were directly blasted into ashes by the tribulation lightning. Not everyone could suppress their aura. If they were not careful and the tribulation fire was ignited by the tribulation lightning, they would attract the heavenly tribulation. In the heavenly Emperor's city on the ground, tribulation lightning descended from the sky. Every time a tribulation lightning flashed, a cultivator would be blasted into smithereens. A terrifying aura of destruction enveloped the entire world. The tribulation clouds in the sky were incomparably thick. As they pressed down from the sky, everyone could feel an incomparable pressure. Even sages were in danger, let alone other living beings. "Gu Fei, you deserve to die!" the ancient Yuan heavenly emperor roared. He rushed out of the heavenly emperor palace and charged towards Gu Fei. The mighty pressure of a holy venerate spread out, and even overpowered the heavenly might descending from the sky. Boom! The void collapsed and turned into a destructive storm that directly crashed down towards Gu Fei. This was a destructive force that could tear apart the void. Humph! Gu Fei felt immense pressure. He had to deal with the heavenly tribulation and the primordial celestial arch at the same time. He stood in the void, surrounded by purple lightning bolts. His battle intent was like a rainbow. He raised his head and looked up without any fear. Then, he punched upwards, and streaks of purple lightning gathered towards his fist. Rumble! Gu Fei's fist blasted out like a bolt of thunder from the 9 heavens, directly blasting apart the destructive force that swept down from the sky. Streaks of purple lightning that looked like purple dragons rushed towards the ancient Yuan celestial ruler. The primordial heavenly emperor was shocked to see that Gu Fei was able to draw the 9 heavens' thunder for his own use. Such a method was too shocking. An ordinary great sage wouldn't dare to do this. Buzz! A layer of immortal light emerged from the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's body. Boom! The 9 heavens' thunder that collided directly with the layer of immortal light on the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's body, displaying a powerful destructive force. However, the layer of immortal light on the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's body was faintly intertwined with immortal runes, drawing upon the power of the Grand Tao and blocking the 9 heavens' thunder. The immortal light around the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's body vibrated, but it wasn't broken by the 9 heavens' thunder. Is that all you've got? You're dead. The ancient Yuan celestial arch stared at Gu Fei with a gloomy expression. A chilling murderous aura emanated from his body, causing the temperature of the entire world to drop rapidly. TCH. Gu Fei gave the ancient Yuan celestial arch the middle finger. Buzz! The ancient Yuan celestial arch was furious. A sword chime came from his body, and then 9 immortal runes rushed out from his body, turning into a sword light that pierced towards Gu Fei. Every single streak of sword light cut through the void, able to cut down the stars in the sky. This was a Tao sword, possessing tremendous power. Die! Gu Fei's battle blood was boiling. He clenched his fists, and streaks of primal chaos Tao patterns surged on his fists, emitting the power of the great Tao. He waved his fists and smashed at the sword light that pierced through him. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. Gu Fei actually dared to use his physical body to resist the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's flying immortal Tao sword. He was really crazy. Clanging sounds rang out as Gu Fei's fist violently collided with the incomparably swift and fierce sword light, producing a metallic clang as if they were forging iron. Rumble! The heavenly tribulation was still operating, and dazzling purple lightning descended from the sky. Every single tribulation lightning struck Gu Fei's body. However, Gu Fei didn't seem to feel it at all. He still attacked with all his strength. A pair of primal chaos divine fists smashed away the 9 flying immortal Tao sword lights. With the power of his martial body and the power of his martial path battle techniques, Gu Fei could definitely compete with the sacred venerate. It should be known that his cultivation level was already infinitely close to that of a sacred venerate. As long as he succeeded in this tribulation, he would become a sacred venerate. Die! Gu Fei was like the reincarnation of a primal chaos god. He immediately appeared in front of the ancient Yuan celestial darch and threw a punch at him. At that moment, the ancient Yuan celestial Thearcha's figure suddenly became blurry. It was as if his entire body had instantly fused with the surrounding void. Gu Fei's punch seemed to have hit the air, as if it had not been affected at all. The 9 secrets of the immortal Tao. Gu Fei was shocked. He stabilized his figure and the power on his fist exploded, tearing through the void. He wanted to shake the ancient Yuan celestial darch out of the void. The ancient Yuan celestial darch also cultivated the immortal Tao, so he also knew a few of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao. He used the anti-void secret technique, and his body became a part of the world. His blurry figure completely disappeared. What? Gu Fei couldn't help but be shocked. The ancient Yuan celestial darch had actually cultivated the anti-void secret technique to the level where he could disappear without a trace. This was very surprising. Swish! A beam of purple light emerged from between Gu Fei's eyebrows and a powerful will spread out from between his eyebrows. Ripples that could be seen with the naked eye appeared in the void. Suddenly, a figure appeared behind Gu Fei without any warning and slammed a palm towards Gu Fei's back. Sword light pulsed from the palm. Just as the ancient Yuan celestial Thearcha's palm was about to land on Gu Fei's body suddenly dimmed as if he had suddenly become transparent. What? The primordial Yuan celestial darch was taken aback. His palm passed through Gu Fei's transparent figure as if it was hitting thin air. Swish! A beam of purple sword light tore through the void and slashed towards the ancient Yuan celestial darch. Gu Fei was counterattacking. This was one of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, the sword of the primordial Tao. Even a heavenly venerate would be severely injured if they were struck by the sword of the primordial Tao. The ancient Yuan celestial darch knew how powerful it was and hurriedly dodged. The 9 secrets of the immortal Tao. The Flame Emperor's eyes lit up when he saw this scene. The ancient Yuan celestial darch had indeed mastered the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, and Gu Fei had also mastered the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao. Since when had the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao become so common? The Flame Emperor found it unbelievable. The 9 secrets of the immortal Tao had been lost for countless years. He hadn't expected that they would appear again. It seemed that this life was really different from the others. The other powerhouses in the Celestial Darch Palace were also shocked. That guy called Gu Fei could actually fight the ancient Yuan Celestial Darch. This Gu Fei clearly wasn't a heavenly venerate. He wasn't a heavenly venerate, but he had the combat strength to contend against one. This was unbelievable. All of this seemed illusory and unreal to everyone. Furthermore, what made everyone uneasy was the fact that the tribulation summoning force in the world was becoming more and more powerful. Even some of the saints could barely suppress their own auras. What's going on? Is there going to be an even stronger tribulation coming? Someone muttered. This guy is too abnormal. Someone lamented. At this time, people were constantly being ignited by the tribulation fire in both the Celestial City and the Celestial Darch Palace. 9 out of 10 of these people who were passively attracted to the tribulation met a tragic end. They were blasted to pieces by the tribulation, their bodies and souls destroyed. Chapter 2674. The heavenly tribulation continued. A terrifying aura of destruction descended from the depths of the sky. This was the Heaven Realm's tribulation, different from the one in the mortal world. The Heaven Realm's tribulation was much more powerful and terrifying than the one in the mortal world. It had to be known that the Heaven Realm was a truly flawless world with flawless laws. This was also why Gu Fei wanted to undergo his tribulation in the Heaven Realm. Buzz! Sword light hummed. At this moment, Gu Fei seemed to have turned into a supreme sword god. With a wave of his hand, sword light bloomed in the sky as if it could split the world in half. The primordial sword of Tao displayed its terrifying power. The sword light forced the ancient celestial emperor to constantly dodge, not daring to face Gu Fei head-on. Everyone was dumbfounded. After all, the ancient celestial emperor was a sword emperor, a saint of the sword Tao. With his soaring sword Tao, he had few opponents in the heaven realm. However, the sword Tao that the ancient celestial emperor was most proficient in had forced the ancient celestial emperor into such a sorry state. This was unbelievable. Their eyes almost fell out of their sockets. How is this possible? Someone actually used the sword to force the ancient celestial emperor into such a sorry state. The people in the celestial emperor palace were either great lords or supreme figures of the older generation. No one who could enter the celestial emperor palace was weak. These people were naturally discerning and quickly saw through the truth. Gu Fei's sword light actually contained some kind of grand Tao. It was a power that could make one's soul tremble. This is a sword light that specifically targets the origin soul, the Fire Emperor said solemnly in the Heavenly Emperor Palace. What? Everyone couldn't help but be alarmed when they heard that. There were many great arts that specifically targeted the soul, but there were very few sword Tao that targeted the soul. Could this be the legendary primordial sword of the Tao? A white-haired old man spoke with a trembling voice. He was incomparably excited. It had to be known that this secret art had been lost for countless years. The legendary 9 secrets of the immortal Tao. An expert of the older generation exclaimed. Ascending sword! The ancient celestial emperor roared. He had finally used his ascending sword of the Tao. This sword Tao was also a Tao sword. Buzz! A sword cry shook the heavens as a violet swordlight rushed out of the primordial celestial Thearka's body and clashed with Gu Fei's primordial spirit Tao sword. The resplendent swordlight bloomed, illuminating the entire world in an instant. Gu Fei, today is the day you die, the ancient Yuan Heavenly Emperor said coldly. His eyes were cold and murderous. This guy was really reckless. He actually came here to undergo his tribulation. However, the heavenly tribulation was still wreaking havoc. One after another, tribulation lightning fell from the sky and directly ignored the defensive immortal light of the celestial city and the celestial palace. Wherever the tribulation lightning passed, cultivators were directly blasted into ashes, their bodies and souls annihilated. It's hard to say who will die today. Gu Fei laughed. He was very relaxed because he still hadn't used any of his trump cards. However, the ancient Yuan Heavenly Emperor was really powerful. He actually couldn't tell if this was Yuan Gu's real body or a clone. The two figures moved rapidly in the void. Bolts of the 9th heaven lightning fell from the sky and directly struck Gu Fei's body. He was bathed in tribulation lightning, but he didn't notice it at all. This was the 9th heaven lightning, which was even more powerful than the chaotic tribulation lightning. Even a great sage would be blasted to smithereens by it. This Gu Fei is quite a character. He has actually cultivated his physical body to such a powerful level. The Fire Emperor couldn't help but be shocked when he saw Gu Fei bathed in lightning. Fire Emperor, you don't know that this Gu Fei is a martial arts successor, a white-haired old man said. What? The Fire Emperor couldn't help but be startled when he heard this. He turned to look at the white-haired old man. This Gu Fei once caused havoc in the Eastern Earth. Even the Violet Emperor died at his hands. The ancient Yuan Heavenly Emperor and Gu Fei have a huge grudge. The old man sighed. He hadn't expected that Gu Fei would return. Perhaps only he would dare to trick the ancient Yuan Heavenly Emperor. To put it more accurately, Gu Fei had tricked everyone, as the tribulation guiding force wasn't just targeting the primordial celestial darch, but everyone. Many people who didn't want to undergo the tribulation had no choice but to do so. The tribulation fire had been ignited, so these people had to undergo the tribulation regardless of whether they wanted to or not. He's actually a martial ancestor's successor. No wonder. The Fire Emperor suddenly understood. The martial ancestor was a supreme existence who had created the path of martial arts. The martial path was a cultivation method that fused one's physique and technique. The physique was the martial body, while the technique was the martial path's battle technique. The fusion of a physique and battle technique could greatly increase the power of a cultivator on the path of martial arts. It could be said that a cultivator was born to be a warrior. At this time, Gu Fei and the ancient Yuan Heavenly Emperor were engaged in an intense battle. Sword aura swept across the sky. Even the mountains thousands of miles away were swept by the sword light and collapsed. This was a power that could destroy heaven and earth. Both the cultivators in Celestial City and the Celestial Palace in the sky were shocked to the extreme. At this time, 9 divine suns appeared in the sky. They were all purple, and each of them emitted a dazzling divine light. These were huge lightning balls condensed from the power of the 9 heavens. They looked like 9 purple suns that had appeared in the sky, illuminating the entire world in purple. This is... Everyone raised their heads and looked up. The destructive power emitted by the 9 divine suns in the sky almost collapsed the sky. Dark and terrifying spatial cracks cracked in the void. They looked like huge black lightning bolts that extended from the sky to the ground. This scene was really terrifying. Everyone was dumbfounded. No one had thought that the heavenly tribulation that Gu Fei had triggered would be so powerful. On a mountain thousands of miles away from the Celestial Palace, a black-clothed masked woman looked at the sky in shock. The 9 suns were very conspicuous in the dusky sky. Even thousands of miles away, one could still sense the terrifying destructive aura emitted by the 9 suns. This was a power that could make even great sages despair. I didn't expect that Gu Fei would really dare to go to Celestial City to undergo the heavenly tribulation. 2 old men stood behind the mysterious underworld saintess. They were the Black Tiger Man and Elder Yan Kun. Good, very good. I didn't expect that the ancient Yuan Heavenly Emperor would have such a day. Elder Yan Kun was extremely excited when he saw this scene. The Black Tiger Man's expression was grave. His eyes flickered, but no one knew what he was thinking. You! The ancient Yuan Heavenly Emperor was extremely shocked. Gu Fei had actually triggered the heavenly tribulation that had only appeared in legends. This was the true might of the 9 heavens' thunder. Chapter 2675. You want to escape? It won't be that easy! Gu Fei shouted and immediately used the primordial Soul Dao sword. Rays of sword light rushed out of his body. There were 108 of them, and they intertwined to form a sword net, trapping the primordial celestial arch within. Buzz! The sword light hummed and the sword chi shot into the sky. A powerful force of the sword wave sealed off this part of the void. Rumble! At that moment, 9 purple suns descended from the sky and descended towards Gu Fei. Wherever the 9 suns passed, the void was annihilated and everything was destroyed. Roar! The ancient celestial emperor felt threatened. He roared and used the flying celestial sword wei with all his might. Dazzling swordlight tore through the void. The void that had been sealed by Gu Fei's Yuan Soul sword technique shook violently. The 108 rays of swordlight gradually dimmed. The ancient celestial emperor was attacking with all his might. The 108 rays of swordlight had to bear the double pressure before collapsing. The ancient celestial emperor rushed out impatiently. Preposterous! That guy got lucky. At that moment, Gu Fei was resisting the heavenly tribulation with all his might. He couldn't divert his attention to stop the ancient celestial emperor. However, the 9 purple suns descended from the sky and a terrifying power enveloped the surroundings. Although the ancient celestial emperor tried his best to escape the heavenly tribulation, it was too late. Boom! 9 purple suns descended from the sky, and endless lightning radiance bloomed. Dao patterns in the shape of lightning filled every inch of the void. The lightning engulfed Gu Fei in an instant. Even the ancient celestial emperor was swept into the sea of lightning. That wasn't all. The purple sea of lightning spread out, connecting the sky and the earth. It enveloped Celestial City on the ground and Celestial Palace high up in the sky. What's going on? It's not time for me to undergo the heavenly tribulation yet. Why am I glowing? Someone cried out in fear. At that moment, the purple tribulation lightning covered the sky and the earth, enveloping an area of 1,000 miles. Inside the Celestial City, people were emitting light from all over their bodies one after another. This was the tribulation fire, the omen that the heavenly tribulation was about to arrive. There's no justice in this world. I don't want to go through the tribulation. In the celestial city and the celestial palace, screams of despair were transmitted unceasingly. Endless purple lightning wreaked havoc outside the celestial city. The celestial city's protective formation was operating frantically, blocking the purple lightning outside the city. However, when the cultivators inside the celestial city attracted a heavenly tribulation, even the great formation protecting the city couldn't block it. The heavenly tribulation attracted by the cultivators inside the city would ignore the obstruction of the void and directly descend on the cultivators who attracted the heavenly tribulation. At this moment, the tribulation attracting force was unprecedentedly strong. Even some cultivators who hadn't reached the stage of tribulation yet had their tribulation fire ignited. This was definitely a disaster. Everyone was terrified to the extreme, fearing that the tribulation guiding force would ignite the tribulation flames. Roar! The furious roar of the ancient Yuan celestial darch could be heard from the endless tribulation lightning. He had encountered a great crisis, as the power of the 9 balls of lightning fire had far exceeded his imagination. A bolt of purple lightning struck his shoulder and scorched it black. Even his heavenly venerate immortal physique was affected by it. Fortunately, the ancient Yuan celestial darch didn't need to worry about the tribulation guiding force affecting him. Open! The ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's body was shrouded in immortal light, and his immortal aura was vast and mighty. An incomparably resplendent swordlight rushed out of his hand and broke through the tribulation lightning. He didn't dare hesitate, and wanted to leave the sea of lightning immediately. However, at this moment, a figure that radiated with the light of tribulation of metal suddenly appeared in front of him, and blocked his way. That person grinned and pounced directly at the ancient Yuan celestial darch. Rumble! Endless destructive thunder rushed out of his body, making him look like an invincible god of thunder. Every bolt of lightning that rushed out of his body directly tore the void between heaven and earth. Pfft! A bolt of lightning directly penetrated the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's shoulder. This is... The ancient Yuan celestial darch was extremely shocked. He didn't even think about it before retreating. A destructive force spread out from his shoulder and extinguished his vitality. This was the power of the Tao of destruction. Tribulation lightning was originally a kind of destructive force. Moreover, the ancient Yuan celestial darch was shocked to discover that the bolt of lightning that had penetrated his shoulder was actually a lightning-shaped Tao pattern. This was a heavenly pattern. At this moment, Gu Fei wasn't having a good time either. He had lost count of how many times his body had been penetrated by the purple lightning. This kind of lightning formed from a heavenly pattern was invincible. Even someone as powerful as Gu Fei couldn't bear it. His martial body was showing signs of collapsing. Roar! Gu Fei roared as he continued to chase after the ancient Yuan celestial darch. He wanted to borrow the power of the tribulation lightning to contend against the ancient Yuan celestial darch. This kind of power could definitely injure Yuan Gu. Even if he couldn't kill Yuan Gu, he could at least beat him half to death. You're crazy! The ancient Yuan celestial darch kept dodging. He was extremely shocked. He had never seen anyone directly attract the power of tribulation. This guy was too crazy. Haha, ancient Yuan, come on! Fight me fair and square if you have the guts! Gu Fei laughed as he used the 8 desolate steps to display the world's fastest speed. This made the ancient Yuan celestial darch furious. His heavenly sovereign immortal body had already been penetrated by the lightning that had rushed out from Gu Fei's body in more than a dozen places. Moreover, the wounds on his body were difficult to heal. This was a great Tao injury. Gu Fei's body was surrounded by lightning. In the end, even his 7 orifices were emitting lightning. He had no choice but to stop and use all his strength to resist the increasingly powerful tribulation lightning. The 9 purple suns had already penetrated his body. It was as if there were 9 divine suns blooming with endless electric light in his body. If it were any other peak great sage, his physical body would have been blown up by the 9 balls of tribulation thunder, and his body and soul would have been destroyed. However, Gu Fei wasn't an ordinary peak great sage. He was a great sage of the martial path. His martial body was extremely powerful, and was known as the indestructible martial body. Even the ancient Yuan celestial Thearcha's heavenly sovereign immortal body couldn't compare to his great sage martial body. The ancient Yuan celestial Darch took the opportunity to hide far away. Right now, Gu Fei was a tribulation lightning that could explode at any time. He didn't want to take the risk. Rumble! Thunderous sounds came from Gu Fei's body. His entire body was blooming with endless lightning. In the end, the purple lightning intertwined outside his body and formed a light cocoon. This was an extreme transformation. The moment Gu Fei broke out of the cocoon and was reborn, it was as if he had experienced a rebirth. Chapter 2676. The Yuan ancient celestial Darch rushed out of the sea of lightning in a sorry state. His entire body was scorched black, and his heavenly venerate body had suffered a great impact. Tiny purple lightning bolts were still circulating around his body, emitting crackling sounds. This bastard! Yuan Gu spat out a mouthful of blood. He wanted nothing more than to tear Gu Fei apart. He had never been tricked like this before, so he was shocked, angry, and anxious. Come in and fight if you have the guts. Gu Fei's voice came from the sea of lightning. He was challenging the Yuan ancient celestial Darch. I'm going to die from anger. The Yuan ancient celestial Darch had an urge to eat someone, but he wasn't overwhelmed by anger. It had to be said that the power of the ninth heaven lightning was enough to threaten him. Furthermore, the ninth heaven lightning tribulation wasn't directed at him, but at Gu Fei. He wouldn't help Gu Fei resist the tribulation. Rumble! A figure sat cross-legged in the light cocoon that was formed by interweaving purple lightning. Endless lightning interweaved outside the cocoon and turned into purple Tao patterns. A terrifying tribulation lightning domain was formed around the cocoon of light. Any living being that entered this domain would be mercilessly blasted to smithereens. Perhaps not even a scrap would be left behind. However, the tribulation lightning domain was constantly devouring the power of the tribulation lightning in the surroundings. Tao patterns were faintly discernible within the tribulation lightning domain. This was the manifestation of the great Tao. The Tao patterns were imprinted into the cocoon of light and hidden within. Gu Fei was just bluffing. He was trying to comprehend the heavenly Tao brought about by the heavenly tribulation, so he couldn't deal with the Yuan ancient celestial Darch. However, even the Yuan ancient celestial Darch didn't dare to recklessly enter the sea of lightning. The tribulation lightning domain was so terrifying that even a heavenly venerate would be in danger of dying inside. It seems like I can't stop him. Interesting. The Flame Emperor, who was in the Heavenly Emperor Palace, smirked when he sensed the changes in the sea of lightning. The Yuan ancient celestial Darch was in big trouble. Once Gu Fei successfully transcended the tribulation, the Yuan ancient celestial Darch would be in deep trouble. Although the Flame Emperor and the ancient Yuan celestial ruler were allies, this alliance was built on the common interests of both parties. The two emperors had a common enemy, the Southern Mountains God Emperor. If not for this reason, the Fire Emperor would not have needed the ancient bird Heavenly Emperor. However, the ancient Yuan celestial Darch now had a powerful enemy, so the Flame Emperor had to reconsider whether or not he should continue maintaining his alliance with the ancient Yuan celestial Darch. The ancient Yuan celestial Darch also sensed the changes in the sea of lightning. Preposterous! The primordial heavenly Darch knew what would happen if Gu Fei succeeded his tribulation. Buzz! With a thought, a bronze battle spear rushed out from his body, emitting a terrifying aura. This was an ancient battle spear. The blood on the spearhead had yet to dry. Sparkling and translucent blood beads flowed on the spearhead, but they did not drip down. Each drop of blood beads emitted a demonic blood-red light. One look and anyone could tell that these blood beads were not ordinary. A battle spear that has killed demons before? The Flame Emperor's heart trembled when he saw this scene. It should be known that this was an ancient battle spear that was stained with the blood of an ancient demon. Demons in ancient times were definitely synonymous with power. Die! The ancient Yuan celestial Darch did not hesitate as he took out the ancient battle spear. The ancient battle spear immediately turned into a blood-red light that pierced through the sea of lightning and pierced through the light cocoon in the tribulation lightning territory. The ancient battle spear emitted a terrifying aura that would make even a sacred venerate shudder. This ancient battle spear could definitely kill a sacred venerate. However, the speed of the ancient battle spear immediately slowed down when it pierced through the tribulation lightning territory. The blood-red light vibrated violently and turned back into an ancient battle spear. The ancient battle spear emitted a supreme killing intent as if it contained a god's will. Ancient runes appeared on the ancient battle spear. Buzz! The ancient battle spear vibrated. Even the tribulation lightning territory could not destroy it, so it continued to pierce through the light cocoon. Rumble! Streaks of tribulation lightning bombarded the ancient battle spear. Although the spear shook violently, it could not be destroyed. Just as the ancient battle spear was about to pierce through the light cocoon, a huge hand suddenly reached out from the light cocoon and grabbed the battle spear. Crack! The moment the huge hand grabbed the ancient battle spear, cracks appeared on it. Then, the ancient battle spear that even the tribulation lightning territory could not destroy actually shattered in the grip of the huge hand. The ancient Yuan celestial arch could not help but be shocked when he sensed this scene. No one knew better than him how terrifying this ancient battle spear was. It was a weapon that could kill a sacred venerate. However, this weapon had been shattered by Gu Fei. The ancient Yuan celestial arch could not believe that Gu Fei's physical strength had reached such a heaven-defying level. After crushing the ancient battle spear, Gu Fei's huge hand retracted back into the light cocoon. Inside the light cocoon, the aura of the Great Path was vast and mighty. The Great Path brought about by the heavenly tribulation was constantly evolving. Gu Fei was comprehending the Great Path of the world between life and death. At this moment, the ancient Yuan celestial arch was extremely depressed. He could not do anything to Gu Fei. Do I have to use my trump card? The ancient Yuan celestial arch struggled internally. If he revealed his trump card now, it would definitely not be a good thing for him. He did not want others to know his actual strength. This Gu Fei, thousands of miles away, the mysterious underworld saintess, who was standing on a mountain ridge, couldn't help but be shocked when she saw this scene. Gu Fei was actually able to contend against the ancient Yuan celestial arch. This was beyond her expectations. A terrifying aura surged forth. Even a saint would feel insignificant in the face of this might. This fellow is going to defy the heavens. The Black Tiger Taoist and Elder Yan Kuan, who were standing behind the mysterious underworld saintess, were in disbelief. This is outrageous. We can't let him truly mature. The ancient Yuan celestial arch had made up his mind. He was going to use his trump card to kill Gu Fei. However, the heavenly tribulation changed again. The tribulation thunder domain around Gu Fei suddenly disappeared. 9 lightning-shaped runes appeared in the void and directly imprinted themselves on the light cocoon. Roar! A long howl resounded from within the cocoon of light. A supreme aura of the Saint Tao erupted, causing the heavens and the earth to tremble. After that, the lightning markings that had formed the cocoon vanished into Gu Fei's body. An unimaginably powerful figure stood up from the void. At this moment, a figure appeared in the depths of the sky. This was a figure so powerful that even the ancient Yuan celestial Thearcha's heart palpitated. The void around this figure was collapsing, and even the primal chaos chi appeared. The reason for all of this was that this figure was too powerful. He was so powerful that even the void of the heaven realm could not contain his existence. Is this the final test? Gu Fei raised his head and looked at the sky with a smile on his face. Swoosh! In the next moment, he soared into the sky and charged into the depths of the sky. After that, he directly attacked the unimaginably powerful existence. Even the ancient Yuan celestial arch was moved. This was the heavenly Tao's imprint being activated. This Gu Fei could actually trigger a heavenly tribulation of this level. The ancient Yuan celestial arch originally wanted to use his trump card, but he gave up on this idea. Die! Gu Fei's battle intent surged as he fought against the blurry figure in the depths of the sky. He even broke through the void and charged into the primal chaos void. A terrifying pressure surged out from the primal chaos, shocking everyone to the extreme. At this moment, the 9 heavens lightning had already dissipated. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. However, more than half of the cultivators in Celestial City and Celestial Palace had died. These cultivators had all been killed by the heavenly tribulation. Their bodies and souls had been destroyed. Gu Fei, the ancient Yuan celestial thearcha's eyes were bloodshot because the majority of the cultivators that had died were his people. More than half of the 100,000 celestial emperor soldiers had died, and their vitality had been greatly damaged. There were countless other cultivators who had been ignited by the tribulation attracting force. This time, Gu Fei had really made the ancient Yuan celestial Darch miserable. At this moment, Gu Fei was fighting against the heavenly Tao imprint. That figure was so powerful that Gu Fei couldn't gain any advantage even if they were at the same level. Boom! With a loud noise, chaotic blood splattered everywhere. Gu Fei's figure was sent flying thousands of meters away. Chaotic blood spurted out of his mouth, and a large part of his chest had caved in. Roar! Gu Fei let out a long roar as his body emitted chaotic light. It was as if chaotic lightning was circling around him as a heavenly venerate's might erupted from his body. His chest, which had caved in from the figure's attack, instantly recovered. The chaotic blood that he had spat out flowed back into his body. Again! Gu Fei didn't hesitate. Even in the face of such a powerful existence, he didn't show any fear as he attacked the figure once again. Rumble! Gu Fei stretched out his hand and unleashed a sky-covering palm. The entire chaotic void trembled as a huge chaotic palm appeared and slapped towards the figure. Roar! The blurry figure roared at the sky. Then, he stretched out his hand to meet Gu Fei's primal chaos palm. A dazzling golden beast claw appeared in the void. Boom! With a loud bang, Gu Fei's chaotic hand collided with the figure's golden light beast hand, causing an earth-shattering sound to erupt. The collision of the two forces produced a destructive storm that swept in all directions. It was as if the sky and earth were being split apart, and the chaotic aura in the surroundings was dispersed. Die! Gu Fei's battle intent was like a rainbow, and his killing intent was endless. He instantly rushed forward and clashed with the figure. Boom! Bam! Dull sounds of collision rang out continuously as the chaotic void boiled. Chapter 2677. Amidst the chaos, Gu Fei and the figure that was powerful enough to make peak great sages despair and heavenly venerates tremble were locked in battle. Boom! The sky-covering primal chaos palm and the golden beast clashed repeatedly, causing a deafening explosion. The void shook violently as chaotic energy surged. Terrifying fluctuations spread from the chaos to the outside world, shocking all the cultivators in Celestial City and the Celestial Palace. In the sky above Celestial City, terrifying spatial cracks were constantly appearing. The aura of destruction seeped out from those spatial cracks, causing people's hearts to palpitate. He's actually able to fight that existence for so long without dying? The ancient Yuan celestial Darch stood high in the sky with a gloomy expression. He had already figured out what the final opponent of Gu Fei's heavenly venerate tribulation was. It was the most stunning and powerful existence in the eastern earth of the heavenly world. Its bloodline had continued to this era, and its bloodline was so powerful that even the sky and earth paled in comparison. It seems like the ancient Yuan celestial Darch is really out of luck. Above the heavenly Emperor Palace, the Fire Emperor looked at the cracks in the void that were constantly appearing. The corners of his lips curled up into an intriguing smile. Boom! The void collapsed with a loud sound as a golden beast claw the size of a mountain tore through the void and grabbed at the ancient Yuan celestial Darch. The aura of destruction emitted by the golden beast claw shocked the ancient Yuan celestial Darch. What's going on? The primordial heavenly Darch was shocked. He immediately turned into a streak of sword light and retreated. He wanted to dodge, but the golden beast claw covered the sky and enveloped the entire world. Bang! The ancient Yuan celestial Darch was sent flying by the golden claw as blood dripped down from the sky. Roar! The ancient Yuan celestial darch roared furiously as blood seeped from the corner of his mouth. He was about to counterattack, but the golden beast claw suddenly disappeared into the void. The chaotic secret technique? The ancient Yuan celestial darch was shocked. He had never imagined that Gu Fei's spirit would be so powerful that he could still sense his position while fighting against that existence. Gu Fei was using the chaotic secret technique to direct the attack of that existence towards the ancient Yuan celestial darch. Rumble! A powerful force tore through the void and rushed out of the primal chaos. A golden fist smashed directly at the ancient Yuan heavenly ruler. Golden Tao patterns circled the golden fist, releasing an invincible Tao power. It was as if a heavenly beast was attacking the primordial celestial darch. Preposterous! The ancient Yuan celestial darch was both shocked and furious. He waved his right hand and a dazzling swordlight rushed out of his hand. It soared for thousands of meters and slashed at the golden fist. However, the sharp swordlight shattered the moment it came into contact with the golden fist. The invincible golden fist blasted the primordial celestial darch away once again. Is it really that old ape? On top of the heavenly emperor palace, when the fire emperor saw this scene, his mind couldn't help but tremble. That old ape was once invincible in the heaven realm, and was the invincible expert that walked out of the eastern earth of the heaven realm. Back then, the fire emperor also had the qualifications to compete for the position of supremacy. However, the one that walked out of the eastern earth was simply too dazzling. Even the fire emperor had been defeated by him. This was a shadow in the fire emperor's heart that was difficult to remove even after countless years. How could a celestial darch be defeated? At this moment, all the powerhouses under the ancient Yuan celestial darch in the heavenly emperor palace and celestial city were stunned by the scene before them. In their minds, a celestial darch was invincible and undefeatable. However, their celestial darch had been blasted away one after another. This result was difficult for them to accept. The ancient Yuan celestial darch was also extremely depressed. That existence was even more powerful and terrifying than he had imagined. However, Gu Fei had managed to withstand it and continued to fight it. Could it be that Gu Fei's cultivation and combat power were already higher than his own? The ancient Yuan celestial darch couldn't help but feel uneasy. If Gu Fei became a heavenly venerate, then he would be in big trouble. Ha, ancient Yuan, isn't this good? Gu Fei's laughter echoed from the primal chaos. Again! As Gu Fei spoke, rays of golden light pierced through the void and turned into rays of golden swordlight that pierced towards the ancient Yuan celestial darch. Each golden swordlight had golden Tao runes faintly visible within it. They were releasing the aura of the great Tao. These swordlights were condensed from the power of the great Tao and could slay saints. In fact, given the combat power of that existence, saints wouldn't even be able to block a single swordlight. They would be directly killed, their bodies and souls destroyed. You dare to play with swords in front of me? The ancient Yuan celestial darch was truly enraged. His body trembled as the pressure of a heavenly venerate immediately erupted from his body. Countless purple swordlights shot up from the sky and met the golden swordlight that pierced through the void. Each swordlight was like a divine rainbow that streaked through the void, leaving behind pitch-black spatial cracks wherever it passed. It displayed a power that could make even great saints' hearts palpitate. Buzz! The void shook as the two supreme sword energies collided. The void let out a deafening sound before it was silently annihilated. The sword chi spread in all directions, destroying everything tangible and intangible. Pfft! The ancient Yuan celestial darch wasn't able to block all the swordlights in the end. One of the golden swordlights directly pierced through his left shoulder, causing his heavenly venerate blood to splatter everywhere. The ancient Yuan celestial darch quickly retreated. He was extremely shocked. That existence was truly heaven-defying. This kind of power was too great to even be able to suppress him. At that moment, the ancient Yuan celestial darch felt a powerful wave of sword chi spreading from the wound on his left shoulder. It was rapidly destroying his vitality. Roar! The ancient Yuan celestial darch roared as his origin source sword chi suddenly erupted. Bam! With a muffled sound, the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's entire shoulder exploded. A golden light rushed out of the bloody mist before dissipating into the void. The sword chi that had entered the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's body was forced out. Gu Fei, come out and fight if you have the guts. Borrowing the power of others is nothing. The ancient Yuan celestial Darch roared. The primordial celestial ruler roared. His shoulder was badly mangled, but his muscles, bones, and flesh were regenerating. Very quickly, his immortal body was completely restored as if he had never been injured. At his level of cultivation, regenerating flesh was just a minor path. The ancient Yuan celestial Darch had also mastered one of the 9 secrets of the immortal Tao, the Heaven Ascension secret art. It would be very difficult to kill him. This was the source of the ancient Yuan celestial Thearka's confidence. He had tens of thousands of clones. Even the current ancient Yuan celestial Darch didn't know if he was one of them. It was the same for the Flame Emperor. Even the Flame Emperor couldn't see through the ancient Yuan celestial Darch, let alone others. Gu Fei had cultivated the martial path Heavenly Eye, but he still couldn't see through the ancient Yuan celestial Darch. "TCH, come in and fight if you have the guts," Gu Fei said disdainfully. Damn it! Although the ancient Yuan celestial Darch was furious, he wouldn't fall for Gu Fei's trick. Provoking the ancient Yuan celestial Darch into attacking and then diverting the pressure of the heavenly tribulation onto himself? At this time, on a mountain peak several thousand miles away from Celestial City, a golden light descended from the sky and landed on a large rock. It was a tall and sturdy golden-haired youth. His entire body was shrouded in golden light, as if he was enveloped by a layer of golden lightning. An incomparably powerful aura spread from the golden-haired youth's body. Why is he here? In the distance, the Xianming Saintess noticed the golden-haired youth. This person had a great background and had only recently come out of seclusion. As soon as he came out, he started a war that shook the Eastern Earth. Father! The golden-haired youth couldn't help but become excited when he sensed the familiar energy fluctuations coming from the primal chaos rift. His eyes flickered with golden light. Swish! The Xianming Saintess pondered for a moment before she soared into the sky and flew towards the mountain peak where the golden-haired youth was. She landed beside him. Greetings, Sacred Prince! The Xianming Saintess didn't dare slight the golden-haired youth. You still dare to appear here? Aren't you afraid that old Yuan Gu will attack you? The golden-haired youth said indifferently without even looking at the Xianming Saintess. Sacred Prince, you must be joking. Do you think that old Yuan Gu still has the time to attack me? The Xianming Saintess said as she glanced at the golden-haired youth. Who is that person in the primal chaos? He actually managed to trigger the mark left behind by my father during his tribulation back then. The golden-haired youth asked. He felt that the aura in the primal chaos seemed familiar, but he couldn't determine who it was. Oh? Sacred Prince, you don't know who that person is? You must be joking. That person is an old acquaintance of yours, the Xianming Saintess said in surprise. She knew about the friendship between Gu Fei and the Sacred Emperor. The two of them could be considered life and death brothers. They weren't simply old acquaintances. Could it really be him? Yuan Hong's eyes immediately lit up. Just as Yuan Hong was feeling bewildered, the great battle and the primal chaos was about to end. Gu Fei was getting stronger as he fought, and his great sage Tao patterns had transformed into sacred venerate Tao patterns. The 9 primal chaos Tao patterns released powerful sacred venerate energy fluctuations. Boom! A golden fist smashed directly onto Gu Fei's body, sending Gu Fei flying for tens of thousands of feet. Blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. All right. Gu Fei's eyes shot out an extremely sharp divine light. His entire body emitted a sonic boom as his physical strength was released. The violent power was vast and mighty. Again! Gu Fei's long hair fluttered as he charged forward with an indomitable will. His pair of primal chaos fists smashed the primal chaos void as though they were splitting the sky and earth. He was once again sent flying by that figure that emitted endless golden light. Chapter 2678. He had been sent flying again and again, but he had rushed forward again and again. If he bled, he would just wipe it away. Gu Fei's gaze was firm. As a martialist, he was a natural warrior. His Tao heart had never wavered. An unyielding fighting spirit ignited in his chest. Gu Fei's aura had never disappeared amidst the primal chaos. Even if he was extremely weak, he would still grow stronger. Many people wanted Gu Fei to die under the heavenly tribulation. However, he just couldn't die. He was like a centipede. Just when everyone thought that he would die, he stood up again and continued to fight against that existence. An ordinary peak great sage would have lost all hope if they had encountered that existence. It should be known that this existence was the strongest existence that had ever emerged from the eastern earth of the heaven realm. It could stand shoulder to shoulder with the supremacy. This existence was formed by the great path imprint that Yuan Hong's father, the golden-eyed divine ape, had left on the heavenly path. The golden-eyed divine ape had once been invincible in the heaven realm. He had suppressed countless powerhouses in the heaven realm to the point where they couldn't even lift their heads. Even the forbidden areas of the heaven realm had quietened down and didn't dare make any moves. "Father must still be alive," Sacred Prince Yuan Hong said from a mountain peak thousands of miles away. He stared resolutely at the spatial cracks that were constantly appearing in the sky. The familiar aura coming from the primal chaos reminded him of his father. His old father had sealed him into the present world, and then disappeared. No one knew where the golden-eyed divine ape, who had once been invincible in the heaven realm, had gone. Perhaps only the supremacy-level existences knew what had happened. However, Yuan Hong knew that his father wouldn't die so easily. The eyes of the mysterious underworld saintess, who was standing beside Yuan Hong, lit up when she heard his words. She looked at Yuan Hong, but no one knew what she was thinking. The most depressed person right now was the Yuan ancient heavenly emperor. He was so angry that he almost vomited blood when he thought about his subordinates who had been ignited by the heavenly tribulation. Gu Fei had dug a hole for himself this time. The Yuan ancient heavenly emperor's strength had been greatly damaged, and he wouldn't be able to recover for a long time. Furthermore, it had to happen at this time. The winds and clouds of the heaven realm were changing. The older generation powerhouses had returned, and the situation of many heroes fighting for supremacy had already formed. At this time, the primordial heavenly Thearka's strength had been damaged, which was very bad for him. The duration of the heavenly tribulation was not short. Every major power had planted spies in the eastern earth. The news of someone going to Celestial City to undergo the tribulation on the birthday of the primordial heavenly emperor spread like wildfire. "Haha, very good. Who has such guts?" In the Nanling Mountains, a loud laugh came from a place of immortal spirit. A sacred venerate-level aura of the divine way spread out from the depths of the place. "That ruthless person is so abnormal, he's even more awesome than me. Old Yuan is about to vomit blood, haha." The voice of the old tortoise came from the ancestral court of the demons in the heaven realm. At this time, even the superpowers of the Middle Earth were shocked. There was actually someone who dared to go to the eastern land's celestial Emperor Yuan Gu's lair to undergo tribulation. Was that person crazy? Who was the primordial heavenly emperor? No matter how mysterious he was, the old antiques of the ancient powers of the heaven realm could still somewhat guess who he was. Someone dared to cause trouble on the birthday of the primordial heavenly emperor. This was beyond everyone's expectations. This was definitely a big matter that would shake the entire heaven realm. Regardless of whether it was the Nanling Mountains, the Middle Earth, the Snowfield, or even the Western Li, all powerhouses were alarmed. In a short period of time, countless cultivators in the heaven realm were discussing this matter. Some of the super powerhouses even directly crossed the void and rushed to the eastern earth. Just as everyone was curious about who dared to go to the lair of the primordial heavenly emperor to undergo tribulation, Gu Fei's heavenly tribulation was already coming to an end. Rumble! In the primal chaos, the primal energy was vast and mighty. Gu Fei's battle intent was unextinguished as he clashed with that figure. From being in a disadvantageous position to being able to attack and defend, he was now able to contend with it. During this process, Gu Fei didn't know how many times his martial body had been blasted apart by this powerful opponent. However, the indestructible martial body wasn't just for show. Even if he was blasted to pieces by that existence, Gu Fei could still reform his muscles, bones, blood, and flesh and reconstruct his martial body. He didn't use the 9 secrets of the immortal path. He only used his own martial power to fight against the figure formed by the old ape's heavenly Tao imprint. At this moment, the primal energy around Gu Fei's body was vast and mighty. Primal chaos Tao patterns faintly appeared on his body. The aura of the great Tao permeated the air, making him look like a peerless martial god that had been born from the primal chaos. A saint venerate pressure that could crush the heavens spread from his body. It was extremely terrifying, and even the space in the outside world shook violently. The great Tao mysteries of the holy venerate level from the heavenly tribulation had been successfully integrated into Gu Fei's own great Tao. His great Tao had been further perfected. It's my turn to show my might. At this moment, Gu Fei's battle intent was unprecedentedly strong. The 9 primal chaos Tao patterns turned into 9 beams of primal chaos divine light that circled around him. He extended his hand and guided a beam of primal chaos divine light to his hand before striking it at the old ape. At this moment, the old ape's fighting strength was also at the level of a holy venerate, but it was on par with Gu Fei's. However, the old ape's fighting strength was already the most powerful one he could muster. Although the world was heartless, it still left a chance for those undergoing the tribulation. The great Tao imprint that the old ape had left on the heavenly Tao could only display the battle prowess of a holy venerate. Roar! The old ape roared and punched out. His fist collided with the incoming beam of primal chaos divine light. The power of a holy venerate erupted, and the golden fist dispersed the beam of primal chaos divine light. The old ape was also pushed back by the power that erupted from the primal chaos divine light. At this moment, the old ape could no longer gain any advantage. This was a battle between people of the same level, and Gu Fei was a martial artist. It was no exaggeration to say that he was invincible among those of the same level. However, the old ape was no ordinary holy venerate. He was a supreme expert that had appeared in the Eastern land before. He had dominated an era, and even the Forbidden Zones did not dare to act recklessly. Gu Fei used the 8 desolation steps and chased after the old ape. He extended his hand, and a huge hand that blotted out the sky immediately appeared in the void and slapped at the old ape. The old ape was extremely powerful. He still punched out, and a supreme fist force erupted from his fist. It was as if a golden divine sun had appeared in the primal chaos. The golden light dispersed the primal chaos aura within a radius of 10,000 miles. This was the battle technique of the golden-eyed divine ape clan. Back then, the old ape had beaten up all the experts in the heaven realm with his fists. Boom!